Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
What up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Happy New Year. 2025, guys. I'm super excited. 2025, the year of 0 energy disclosure. It's going to be an epic year. We're going to make it happen. Look at how much we accomplished last year. We didn't even understand all of 0 energy last year. This year, we are going to push for 0 energy even harder than we've ever pushed before. We are going to show the world that there is a free energy that is out there for the taking, an alternative energy, better than solar, better than wind. Guys, it's already been a crazy year. We are 1 day in, and we've already had 2 terrorist attacks. Amazing. I really hope we don't keep up this pace, because that's like 700 terrorist attacks a year. So can the terrorists out there just chill out a little bit, maybe? Like, so we can just, get free energy for the world. But it does kind of go to show why the people who are hiding it are hiding it. Can you imagine the types of terrorist attacks that would be happening if somebody has access to unlimited energy? Probably not going to be great. So, what are we going to talk about today, guys? We're going to shoot through this today. I'm sorry I was a little bit late on the live stream. If you are live with me here today, hanging out with the family all day, do the New Year and my brother being in town, what have you. It's been good. Yeah, this energy is better than nuclear by a wide margin. Nuclear power is literally just boiling water to spin a turbine. Does that sound awesome to you? Doesn't sound awesome to me. 0 energy can potentially pull electricity directly out of the vacuum all around us. Electricity in the form of electricity as opposed to the form of heat. So it's vastly superior to what we call nuclear power. Nuclear power isn't like actually like splitting atoms and sucking the energy out. It's a lot dumber than that, unfortunately. Okay, guys. Today, we are going to... I'm going to address some haters in the beginning. Talk a little bit about the haters. Then we are going to look at some new possible evidence. We're going to watch a video. New possible evidence in related to what the cargo was aboard MH370. What it was that the Freescale Semiconductor scientists and engineers we're potentially working on that was so important. That's pretty spicy. And then we are going to, at the end, we're going to do a little bit of a quick review of some of the clips from Redacted as well. So that's the plan for us today. I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's just start off right away is that I think the biggest revelation that's happened in the last week or so is the whammy footage. The whammy footage thing is, honestly, you could say I deserve a Pulitzer Prize just for the whammy footage stuff. Everybody's talking about it now. Professor Simon has done 2 videos on the whammy footage, and they've gotten huge amounts of views. I'm honestly jealous. But I can't be that jealous because he credits me pretty heavily in both the videos, and he also promotes the MH370 videos. And I love that he's not afraid to lean into the MH370 videos. So if you have not checked out Professor Simon's videos over the last couple days, check them out. It pretty much summarizes the stuff that I showed you guys in the live stream the other week. Now, I want to point out that I was never the right guy for disclosure, but things don't really work out the way that you anticipate a lot of the time. I I was never a guy I thought I would be a disclosure person. I think that a lot of the UFO community expects that the person who's going to give them disclosure is going to be some paragon hero coming from the government. Those people are going to be disappointed for their entire lives. That's never going to happen. Never in a million years. I think that the only way disclosure really is going to happen from normal people, never from the government. Now, I'm going to play a clip here, and I'm going to analyze it with you guys. This is a clip where some of the haters out there got asked about me on one of their little live streams. I guess they do like a struggling UFO, stream video. Not nearly as good as mine. Like you have way more viewers, way more interest in the stuff that we're doing. But I want to show it because somebody asked them about me and they respond. So here it is.
Right now, and I read a lot from.
So this is Disclosure Tonight, I guess is what this show's called. This guy on the left's name is Thomas Fessler. That's Rick Doty on the right. Rick Doty is an admitted disinformation agent. He's admitted it, that he was paid to sow disinformation about the UFO topic. For some reason, people listen to him now. I think it's because in a lot of cases, he validates the fantasies of a lot of the people in the UFO community, that the aliens are coming to save us. There's 53 species of aliens. Everybody gets the alien that they want. Like that's the stuff that Rick Doty basically says. But we're going to skip past that. I actually don't really have anything against Rick Doty. I mean, if you want to be a disinformation agent, be a disinformation agent. But I only present that to show you guys, like, should you be listening to this person's opinion here when he's trying to judge other people? Because he's literally talking to a disinformation agent, like, right here. Okay, so let's see.
They speak, they talk the talk.
Forbes.
Here we go.
Yeah. So those people who are asking about Ashton Forbes, he's a grifter. The conversation, people who are asking about Ashton Forbes, he's a grifter. The conversation he's been bringing forward, the information that he's got out there, the video that he's been putting out there, it's a fake. He's a fake. So some people who love Ashton Forbes, oh my gosh. Mike, you want to comment on this one?
Well,
please, Mike, give us your opinion.
Look, it's anybody is free to believe and support
whatever they want, yes. But if they ask us, we're going to tell them how we feel, right, Mike?
If they ask us our true opinion about Ashton Forbes, then we're simply going to point out the facts. And the facts are that the video that he came forward with and claimed to be real has been debunked by professionals repeatedly.
It's been debunked by professionals. Nebulous professionals. I'm not even going to name them. It's been debunked by professionals repeatedly.
And the reason why we don't allow him to push that narrative on the show.
We don't allow him to push that narrative on the show. First of all, I don't think I've ever interacted with either of these guys ever in my entire life.
Or support it.
They've certainly never reached out to me and asked me any questions about MH370, never once. Neither of them have.
Is because once it's been debunked and the families of the people who died on the MH370 flight have a right to have their memories and peace after they're lost and not get it brought back up again into the public spotlight, to have these people have to go through that grieving process all over again. It's not fair to them. It's not right. And when something has been proven to be inaccurate, wrong, and then it turns out to be a grift for money.
It's a grift for money now. Okay, keep going.
You have to judge for yourself, but it's
keep digging, Mike Disclosure.
Not something that Thomas or I would ever support or back up and promote a story like that. So that's the simple truth to our thoughts on Ashton Forbes.
Well, thank you for your thoughts. Random guy who doesn't show his face, probably because he's disgustingly ugly and hideous and has poor hygiene. I mean, that's probably the only reason why you're afraid to show your face. And for the rat-faced guy that looks like he's probably on Blue Sky, who I've never interacted with before, You know what? I'll tell you my opinion of you guys as well. I wasn't sure how I was going to take this or how I would respond. I thought, should I take the high road? What should I do here? But the reality is, I looked at your show. You are struggling with like 17,000 subscribers. You have basically no growth. Your production quality of your show is garbage. It's really awkward to watch when you're like staring straight ahead when you have somebody next to you who's like talking. It just looks like you're not even like in the same world as they're in. And also, your show is just completely unwatchable. Like completely unwatchable. I've tried to watch the Disclosure Tonight show, and it's just garbage. It's like it's like public television, basically. When the people come on like in the middle of the night and they're just sitting there like shooting the breeze, like nothing ever relevant ever gets discussed. It's like Jerry Springer without any of the fights. Just no entertainment value whatsoever. Now, in terms of the claims, I kind of want to dig into the psychology of this. I think they believe what they're saying in their heads. That they think that the videos are fake, and because they're probably both on Reddit, I'd say almost 100% certainty that they're both Redditors. I wouldn't be surprised if they're moderators, honestly. And I think they're butthurt because they thought they debunked the videos like a year ago. And then I came on the scene and gained massive popularity and massive attention from podcasters because I realized that the videos weren't fake. And for a lot of people, it's just a coping mechanism now where we've already presented absolute proof that those videos are consistent with real military footage. It can't be even denied at this point. So unless you think that there was somebody that was faking perfect military footage back in 2014 when the plane disappeared, the videos are real. And the ultimate irony of it is that these are guys that are trying to tell people that aliens are visiting us and the government's covering up aliens. They don't really live in a house where they can throw stones at anybody else. It's pretty disgusting. Like when you actually talk about what a grifter is, I don't even know what that word means anymore. I've sold nothing related to MH370 unless you want to come on down on me for the t-shirts that apparently I am going to get a kickback on. I think the t-shirts are in good taste and they bring attention to the case. I don't know what you can call me a grifter on. At least I'm teaching people actual science. Like I'm actually teaching people on my show. I don't request money from anybody. I have no subscriptions and no paywalls on any of my content. Those guys, I don't know how long they've been in the UFO business. Let's just say they've been in it for over a decade. Well, what have they done exactly? This isn't even my job. This isn't even my job. I have a real job. I don't think either of those guys have a real job. Their real job is grifting people on YouTube to feed into their delusions that the aliens are going to come save them in the future, which is never going to happen. That's never going to happen. And to me, that's a much bigger grift than what I'm doing, actually teaching people physics, quantum mechanics, electrical engineering, showing people content that's actually not garbage. So I think it's kind of weird for people to be throwing stones in the situation that those guys are in. But I do like this. I like that they are finally talking their shit in the public view. They're not afraid to like say my name anymore. I like that because these types of losers, I know they've been talking shit about me in like Discords and Telegram chats and Signal chats with all the other blue-haired woke disclosure nut jobs. I know they've been talking shit behind the scenes. I know it 100% for a fact. So at least now they're talking the shit to my face. It took them a year and a half to finally say something to my face because they're such pathetic pussy-ass cowards. But at least now we can do this face-to-face, right? And I can respond face-to-face like this as well. Because now we know where they stand. They're acting as if the MH370 plane has been found and that the families have put their loved ones to rest. Not a single body has ever been found. The families don't believe what's being spread around in the media. The families know there was a cover-up because the families aren't retards like Mike Disclosure and Thomas Fessler. Those guys are just idiots that whatever CNN tells them, that's their mind, that's their belief. They're non-player characters. They're basically just robots that are absorbing information from fake news media, and then that becomes their world. If I were to have a serious sit down with them, my guess is that they would push the suicidal pilot myth. And I would say, do you know that Jeff Wise was the one that spread that myth and that it's 100% debunked? And that every single claim Jeff Wise made was fake about the simulator data. All the stuff was fake. There's literally no evidence whatsoever that the plane even crashed. There's no evidence the plane actually crashed. A couple pieces of the debris doesn't prove that the plane crashed. Those pieces of debris could have just been thrown in the water. They could have literally fallen off the plane. We've got Boeing planes literally falling apart in the midair. So this is the part where it's like when people do the fake sympathy thing, where they're like, he's hurting the families. That's got to be like the lowest IQ brain dead take that you can possibly have. That's like the most NPC blue-pilled, like idiot take possible. Hurting the families. Brother, nobody's going to solve this mystery except for me. I'm going to be the guy. That's how it's going to end up playing out. And if you think that I'm like lying to people about this, imagine what I'm putting on the line by making claims like this. I'm putting my whole life and my life's reputation on the line with this. You think I have a real job? You think I would jeopardize all this if I wasn't absolutely 100% certain? What? And this is the thing, like, what do these people think? Like, if you knew that something was real, how would you act towards other people that are calling you a liar and a grifter and that you're just doing it to make money? Imagine flipping the roles around, right? It's that these people don't have the ability they don't have the capability of empathy. And the funny part is, if you were to ask them, like, hey, you have no empathy, they would say, oh, no, I have empathy. But no, they don't. What they have is virtue signaling, like what that Mike Disclosure guy just did. It's all just virtue signaling. He's saying, I care so much about the families. You don't give a shit about the families, bro. You don't care at all about the families. If you cared about the families, you would support my work to get the answer out there. You don't care about the families. You virtue signal. That's what you do because you want to be seen as a good person to your peers. You care about peer pressure. That's the same reason why you think the videos are fake, because you're in these little group chats with other nut job idiots, people that are like so brain dead, I don't even know how they can tie their shoes in the morning, that told you the videos were fake. And you said, this is my in-group. I need to believe what they believe. That's not thinking for yourself at all. So, when it comes to the videos and trying to hurt the families, I don't understand that argument one little bit. If we had found the plane, and it's some kind of Sandy Hook situation with a bunch of dead bodies, that's one thing. There's no official cause for what happened to the plane. They literally could not admit that the plane even crashed. And the reason why they couldn't admit the plane crashed, and this is 100% true, by the way, the official story is not that the plane crashed. Because if the plane crashed, Boeing would be liable. That's true. Absolutely true. So anyway, I'm glad that this is out in the open finally, because now we can see that these people's arguments and their basis for their beliefs is not based on logic. It's not based on reason. It's based on hatred, and it's based on being ashamed that they were wrong and their inability to think outside the box, their inability to go against their collective understanding and what their peers are telling them. And the scariest part is this, the saddest part, the most pathetic part for people like Mike Disclosure and Thomas Fessler is that these guys are siding with debunkers that they would never in a million years agree with. If you were to probably ask them about any else of Mick West's takes, like all of this leads back to a guy named Mick West and a Metabunk website and a bunch of people who are like mentally ill, like far left-wing NPC nut jobs who like think they've got to save the world from the dangerous misinformation. Those are literally what those kinds of people are. I don't think that those guys would even ever agree with anything Mick West ever says. Now, I could be wrong. I don't really watch their show or anything like that. But it goes to show that like this goes beyond like the truth of them. Like this is personal for them. This has become personal for them. It's pretty sad, man. And then to respond to these woke disclosure, alien obsessed weirdos, I just want to play this clip by Tim Dillon. It's a great one.
I'm giving you a couple different things. Anything that has to do with aliens and space, I want to know what the hell's going on.
And here's why. And by the way, and this is not to insult you.
Yes.
That is the conspiracy for stupid people.
Aliens?
Aliens. It's just under ghosts in terms of what dumb people want to know about. It's the thing.
You see people, you see Air Force people talking about it.
When aliens or ghosts come up, dumb people's eyes bulge out of their head. They go, yes, it's my time. You know why? Because we don't know shit about shit. We have these other ones affect our lives. We know the people. As you said, they should be brought to justice.
Listen, there was just an alien sighting in Miami. Everyone saw him, bro. Everyone saw him.
I woke up to that in Miami at the mall with the aliens. I go, who cares if it's true?
Do you think we landed on the moon?
Probably.
You can't even stand for something, Tim.
There's no effect on my life.
The aliens?
Aliens have no effect on our lives. None.
What about the illegal aliens coming through the border?
Sorry.
So that clip's great, right? Aliens is the conspiracy for stupid people. Stupid people are like, oh, aliens is a massive conspiracy. This is going to change everything. This is going to change everything. Everyone's going to become, it's going to become a utopia. People are going to have their minds blown. They're not going to be able to believe that aliens are real. Nobody gives a shit about aliens. You go talk to any normal person out in the public, they don't give a shit about aliens. It doesn't change our lives at all. That's the disclosure that the woke disclosure people want. Because they're dumb. They're dumb people. They don't see behind the curtain. They've got the keys dangling in front of them. And they're going, ooh, aliens. Oh, this is so neat. Everyone's going to validate my experiences. Validate my experiences, everyone. They don't see that this thing drives a car. And they go, wait, what is that you're dangling there? Oh, wait, there's an energy source, and we could go to Star Trek world if we could tap into this physics that's there. That's a free energy. The energy, the fuel source of UFOs is the real conspiracy. And the reason why this kind of feeds into somebody else was making a post about they got really butthurt because basically I just go around telling the UFO disclosure people they've never accomplished anything, which they've never have. They've never accomplished anything. Nothing ever. What if you had a list of accomplishments, their accomplishment list would be, we told the world aliens are real. That would be their number one. And that would be the only thing on the list. And we just laughed at it just now. Laughed at it. Laughed at them. They have no accomplishments. These people have been trying to get this disclosure thing for at least 30 years. At least 30 years. And they have nothing to say for it, except for now they all have little failed podcasts that basically nobody watches, where they sit there and wait for the next thing, the next little carrot to be dangled in front of them from Daddy Government. Are we going to get a new video, Daddy Government? I don't think they realize the only compelling videos, like the DOD Navy videos, these are all leaks. All these videos were leaked on the internet. And then they became declassified and admitted to be true. The most crazy part, the only videos similar to the MH370 videos are the DOD Navy videos that were declassified in 2017. Those are the only ones close. And they're not even that close. There's nothing else like them. And those videos, ready for it? The DOD Navy videos, the Go Fast, the Gimbal, whatever, they were on the internet and considered 100% conclusively debunked for 10 years. Let me repeat that. The videos that the New York Times did their whole story about in 2017, those videos were on the internet for 10 years and considered conclusively debunked by the exact same people that are claiming the MH370 videos are debunked. Wow. And these are the people, when you listen to the Mike Disclosure and the Thomas Fesslers, that are going, those videos were debunked by professionals. Those same professionals, who, by the way, are not professionals at all. Debunking is not a profession. It's called being an internet loser. The videos were debunked by internet losers. And those same internet losers incorrectly debunked the other real military footage on the internet. In fact, there is no such thing as fake military footage on the internet. in the level of quality that we are seeing in the MH370 videos. There isn't anything. There's nothing even remotely close to it, which goes to show you that is real footage. And if you need more evidence that's real footage, it's pretty simple. This is probably going to be the most embarrassing thing for anybody who thinks that the videos are fake right now. Is that there is anyone who's going to try to claim the opposite of what I'm about to show as well is just honestly not really, doesn't know anything about VFX. And it's funny how many people pretend and lie about claiming to have VFX experience that they just frankly do not have. And that's just something that humans like to do a lot. Humans like to pretend like they have experience they don't have. So let's just go to the beginning of this. This is the MH370 video. Nope, I missed the pause button. You can see the zap reflects off the cloud. See that? See it reflecting off the cloud, chat? That right there is proof it's not VFX. If you do animation, if you do any VFX ever, you know that this right here, this detail where the zap illuminates the cloud is proof the videos are real. Because these are real clouds. Nobody's actually denying that these are real clouds. Even the people that think the videos are fake believe that they use pictures of real clouds to make the videos. The only way to fake that, what you just saw right there, is to use point source lighting. Because what you're seeing there is three-dimensional lighting. To get that level of realism when it comes to lighting in a three-dimensional environment is extremely difficult, and no hoaxer would bother to go to that level of detail. In fact, it was the debunkers that proved to us that this was real, because the debunkers tried to use a glow effect on a two-dimensional environment, and it doesn't match. It doesn't work. So this is one of those other things where the debunkers actually end up proving the videos are real, because they say, no, they just used a glow effect. These guys, they just basically throw anything to the wall and hope it sticks. That's kind of the debunker way. And a lot of times it's like a boomerang. It ends up backfiring and hitting themselves in the face. And it happened in this case as well. They claim this is a glow effect, and they use the glow effect, and the glow effect does not illuminate the clouds in 3 dimensions. The zap in this video, because it's real, illuminates the clouds in 3 dimensions. And this is just one of those details that's been out there for a long time. So when you have people trying to claim the videos are debunked or whatever, and they don't actually give any reasons for why they're debunked, because I've already refuted every single reason, conclusively refuted every reason. These can't be 2-dimensional clouds in these pictures. That has to be a 3D cloud getting real lighting on it. So anyone who tries to claim that you're looking at a picture of clouds, they're just a liar, or they're ignorant. And that's not me being arrogant. That's just a fact. When those guys say that the facts are the videos have been debunked, that's an opinion. That's not a fact. What I find is the biggest problem with a lot of these people is that they don't understand the difference between fact and opinion. This is also the main reason why a lot of these community notes are getting like either removed or you don't see them show up, because debunkers don't literally, and I'm not, again, this isn't a put down. They just quite literally do not understand the difference between fact and opinion. You'll hear them often say that opinions are facts when they're not. Like the Mike Disclosure guy said, the fact is the videos are debunked. That's not a fact. That's an opinion. It's an opinion. And when you use argumentative language like that, that's false. It shows that you are a liar. It shows that you have skin in the game, that you're emotionally invested in it. And it's not because of your beliefs. It's because of the logic that you're using. It doesn't work, right? It's not logical to say it's a fact that something's been debunked, right? You could say, like I could say, it's a fact that there's no VFX in the videos. And then you could try to prove me wrong. But you can't, because there isn't any VFX in the videos. I could say it's a fact that we're looking at wide area motion imagery. And I can say why? Because it's 6 frames per second, and that's how wide area motion imagery works. It's 100% consistent with wide area motion imagery. And no one would have known to do that, right? I could say it's a fact that there were 487 pounds of lithium-ion batteries on board the plane, in the forward cargo bay, right next to the electronics bay. And it's a fact that Billy Vincent and other experts already suspected that there was a fire on board this plane before those batteries were known. These are facts. And I would say my opinion is that the United States government teleported the plane. My opinion is they teleported the plane based on the facts. I don't know why it's so hard. Like, we need to like actually do logic and reason courses in school, because people in America have become so stupid that they actually don't even know how to argue anymore. They don't even know how to argue anymore. Okay, let me do some super chats and then let's get to the next thing, chat. Let me just make sure. One more thing I want to say. If you think the videos are fake, then move on with your life. Here's another fact. The videos are never going away. The videos are never going away. Doesn't matter how much you hate me. Doesn't matter how much you think the videos were debunked. They're never going away. The reason why they're never going away is they're real. That's why they're never going away. So just start dealing with that reality. The videos are never going away. Accept that into your reality. It doesn't matter what you do in the future, what you do now. The videos are never going away. If you're somebody who's so upset that these videos are real that you can't deal with it, then go away. Go away and do anything else with your life. No one is forcing you to watch me. No one's forcing you to read my content. Nobody's forcing you to interact with people that want to get educated on quantum mechanics, zero-point energy, and all this stuff. Just go away. If you're somebody who thinks that you have to respond to people because you have to warn them about Ashton Forbes and his grift, then you are the problem. You're the bad guy. That makes you the bad guy, right? Like, do you not see that you're the villain in that scenario? I was reading comments from people back and forth, and the debunkers can't get into my replies anymore. I don't know if a lot of people know how block works, but when you block people, they actually can't reply to anybody in your replies anymore. It is the greatest change that Elon Musk made, because the debunkers were constantly replying to people in my replies because they couldn't reply to me because I had them blocked. But now they can't reply in any of my posts no matter what when they're blocked. So instead, if anybody else like Tupacabra posts something about MH370, then you see them replying in all the replies there. And that's because they're in a Discord together. And every time I make a post or whatever, or any post that they don't like, they share it around. They get their people to like brigade it and do all the stuff that you're not supposed to do on the internet. Just go away. Just go away. That's the answer. You're not that important. You're not that important that you don't need to go protect anybody else. Everybody are consenting adults. Even if I was lying, which I'm not, you still shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Do you get it? Hopefully they understand that. I wanted to get that message out there. I haven't said it in a long time because I think that these people need to like start to grasp with that reality. The last thing I'm going to say is, for the people like the Mike Disclosures and the Thomas Fesslers, thank you for putting your opinion on the record. That's all I've wanted. I'm not going to try to convince you the videos are real. I'm never going on your show. You should be begging me to go on your show. Nobody watches your garbage anyway. You should be begging me to come on your show. And you know, the real reason why they never invited me is because I would eviscerate them on their own show. I would like just literally KO them, embarrass them in front of their own audience. That was the real reason why they never invited me on. You think those people don't want the engagement? Of course they want the engagement. I forgot what I was going to say is, oh, yes. Thank you for recording that, because I have that clip forever and the internet is forever as well. I keep telling people, feel free to attack me, to say that I'm grifting, I'm lying, that I'm scamming people, that you don't believe the videos are real. In fact, please put as much out there onto the internet of you claiming that as possible, especially if you're in the woke disclosure movement, because we're saving all of it. And we're never, ever, ever going to let you live it down for as long as you live for the rest of your life. Do you hear what I just said? These videos are real, and I know that they're real. I keep saying that to people, and people, it just for some reason it keeps bouncing off of them. The videos are real, and I know that they're real. So go nuts. Go nuts telling the world that you think that they're fake, because it's going to come out in the future that videos are real, and you're going to look like the biggest fucking idiot on the face of the earth. You're going to look like the biggest moron on the face of the earth. And you're going to go do a show, and everybody in the comments of your show is 24/7 say, you're that fucking idiot. You're that retard that couldn't tell the 2 most compelling videos of all time were real. But you want us to listen to your opinions on UFOs? Nobody should listen to you. You have nothing to add. You have no value to add to the conversation. And that's going to be the rest of your life, is getting made fun of for being the dumbest people on the planet. And that's not just for the Thomas Fesslers and the Mike Disclosures. That goes for all of the woke disclosure people. None of you are ever going to get credit for disclosure. You're going to be forgotten, and no one's going to remember your name. You got one up. You lost. And then the reason is not even due to me. It's due to you. It's your own fault. You claim to be open-minded and want aliens to be here, but you weren't open-minded enough to see the 2 most compelling UFO videos of all time were actually real. You couldn't recognize the 2 most obviously real videos ever to exist in the UFO community were real. You couldn't even realize that. How could anyone ever trust someone that couldn't realize the most obvious videos, 2 leaked military videos in infrared and thermal from 2 completely different angles, perfectly in sync without a discrepancy on a single frame of a real plane that is still missing 10 years later? And the videos tell the story of what really happened to the plane that is not currently known by the public. There is no better possible situation to prove something to be real. It's lit. You couldn't even come up with a list. The only thing that can make it better is if the person that leaked the videos came out publicly, said, I'm the one that leaked the videos. That's all you have to do. And these people couldn't realize it. How do you think you're going to get treated in the future when it turns out that I was right? Every time I hear your name, I'm just going to play the clip of you disparaging me, thinking that I was scamming the families. And that's all anyone's going to ever think of you for the rest of your life. Is that really what you want? Is that really what you want? Because if that's not a risk you're willing to take, then my advice would be to shut the hell up. And this is why I say, I want you guys to talk shit. I want you guys to talk shit. I want you to say that you think that I'm a grifter. I want you to say that you definitely 100% think the videos are fake. That way, you have no credibility ever for the rest of your life. And certainly no one's going to ever watch your show. There you go. There it is, chat. That's for all the haters out there. Not just those guys, but, that came up with them. And that's what I would tell Joe Rogan as well. I would tell that to anybody. I'm not afraid to tell it to anybody. The first thing I'll tell Joe Rogan, if I were to go on Joe Rogan, is this. I'd say, hey, Joe, I want to give a little disclaimer right before we begin here, which is that I absolutely challenge everybody out there to say that I'm a liar, I'm a grifter, that I'm making the story up. I challenge them to try to debunk the videos, the case of the MH370. I challenge them to try to debunk the physics as well. Why? Because I want them to put their opinions on the record so that when it turns out that I'm right, that nobody ever listens to any of those people ever again, and also so that the rest of the world learns a valuable lesson. That debunkers are basically just fact checkers. They're basically just lonely incel losers living in their basements that have nothing going on in this world. And they get a little bit of jollies out of trying to feel superior to others. And they do that by basically regurgitating stuff that they read online or what their peers tell them to think. They're bullies, basically. They're basically bullies. Because they were never able to bully anybody when they were in school. That's basically what the debunkers and fact checkers are. And we need to learn that lesson as humanity so that we cannot stifle progress and innovation in the future. It's a very important lesson to learn, I think. Okay. Yeah, and this is the other thing, too, is that I don't want to hear any bullshit about, like, Ashton's mean to me. You guys just heard what those guys said. Those guys said some of the most heinous, like, honestly, some of that's just straight up defamation. Some of that's just defamation. I could probably sue those guys, but they don't have any money, I already know, and it wouldn't be worth it anyway. But these are the types of people that are going to say, like, Ashton, why are you so egotistical and mean to people? It's like, do you listen to what these douchebags are saying? Like, imagine it from my perspective where I know the videos are real and how I look at what they're saying to me. It comes off as just complete retardation to me. It's like, I know those guys have like room temperature IQs. I know that because I know the videos are real and they can't tell they're real and they fell for some terrible debunks. Just means you're an idiot. That's not me being egotistical or narcissistic. That's just me telling you from my perspective, you look like a Down syndrome child, like struggling. That's what it looks like from my perspective. And it's like, should I be nice to you or should I just like shoot you down? I kind of have a lot of options. So anyway, there you go. No more. We don't need to dig in any more mean stuff anymore. But I think it's important that they understand where I'm coming from my perspective, right? From my perspective, they all look like just the dumbest people on the face of the earth. And in some cases, like literal enemies to humanity. For the ones that like believe there's aliens visiting us in UFOs, for them not to be able to tell the videos are real, it's just beyond my comprehension, honestly. They believe in a lot stupider stuff, right? They believe in a lot stupider stuff than the MH370 videos. Okay, let me see what we got here. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to go through the donations, and then we're going to flip over and change gears. Sorry, I just wanted to... I think I addressed everything that was out there. Everything that's important. There was just some things I wanted to say to people, guys. So there you go. Ash, Housewares, Bruddy, you demand. Thank you, Complizir. Appreciate you, man. Wool Johnson, thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate you. NP. This guy Disclosure Night was showing a map a few weeks ago saying, oh my God, look at the radiation levels in New York. Turns out it was a junk map and anyone could see some readings by self. I remember that radiation map. Yeah, I knew that shit was totally fake. It's totally fake. And this is a good, honestly, this is a good point. Like these guys are literally just idiots. They're just idiots, man. A lot of the people in the UFO community are just actual idiots. And it's no surprise why disclosures never happen. Like these people are just silly. Radiation levels on. Hey, I found a map on the internet. It's showing these radiation levels, man. Yeah, there's a nuclear bomb hiding over in this neighborhood. It's like, dude, do you really believe that? Okay. And those are the people throwing stones, right? Like, I would never hate on them for that. I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But they're throwing stones. So it's like, how are you going to throw stones when you're so dumb that you think you're looking at a radiation map on some random third-party website? The whole radiation narrative, by the way, was totally fake. 100% fake. Yeah, there's not drones searching for radiation. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I was surprised to hear that Jesse Michaels fell for that. It's clear that Lou Elizondo planted that. Lou Elizondo was pushing bullshit, as he usually does. Thank you, Monkey Boy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I support this grift for money. Yeah, that's definitely what I've been doing this for. Grifting for money. Guys, if you can grift for money off of saying that orbs teleported a plane, I think you're kind of entitled to it. I think you're kind of entitled to it. I do wonder what some people who like are actually like, they don't produce any value for the community. People like the people we were looking at. How do they not see themselves as grifters? Like, what do they think their job is? How do they think they're superior to me? That's what I'm very curious to try to understand. We're all just on YouTube giving our opinions, man. Ray Skywalker, thank you very much for that donation. Here's to the truth. Love it. Dobby with a throbby, one of the funniest accounts. Some money for a shameless grifter. Thank you. Let me put out my little hat. I should get my hat and put it out here and just, you know, you guys can pretend like you're throwing money into the hat. Like a little homeless person on the side of the road. Okay. Where's that Tim Dillon clip? Yeah, I'm going to post it on, wait, you're the one who posted it. What are you talking about? We Are the Change. You're the one who posted the Tim Dillon clip. I'll post it on X later, guys. Don't worry. Have some more cash for the grift. Thank you, man. I'm just dialing. I'm grifting in right now. Look at all these grifts. Here's you, grifter. What a donkeys. Thank you very much, Nick. You're the best, dude. Complizir again. TF piss closure is a bunch of Elric Zondo schmucks. Yeah, the Elizondo crew is going to be going down in flames. 100%. 100% going down in flames. It's just sad. These guys are just like, they're begging for some hero to come along, and they think that Lou Elizondo's their insider that's going to come and rescue them. Lou Elizondo has never revealed anything. He's never revealed anything. Everybody's already been saying there's aliens for an extremely long time, and they've been doing it on national television. So he's not revealed anything. The only thing that I thought was even compelling that he revealed was what was on the 23-minute video. And it turned out it corroborated the MH370 video. So therefore, no one talked about it. Lou Elizondo's like, yeah, I saw a 23-minute video of a drone, predator drone, being harassed by 3 orbs in a triangle formation. What? That corroborates the MH370 videos being real. It's like, oh, the UFO community is like, oh, we better not talk about that then. They all stop talking about it. Guys, if you want to troll the UFO community, if you see a Lou Elizondo fanboy, just ask them about the 23-minute video. Say, bro, what about that 23-minute video? Where's that? And what they'll think is they'll think about the book, and then they'll go, oh, no, they can't talk about that because it corroborates the MH370 videos. What do you think about Sal Pais' ideas about pyramids on Mars and Earth being a prison planet? Yeah, I already was actually on board with the prison planet idea before I started this. I was telling somebody earlier tonight, I think there's going to be some real dark answer to what's going on with this UFO topic. Like, the answer is going to be really dark, guys. We got to prepare ourselves mentally for that. I wouldn't surprise me at all if humans or another species or our ancestors came from Mars. Panspermia, I think, is really high probability of panspermia being very significant, and the universe being older than it is as well. Kevin Miller, Schrodinger's Ashton. He's measured and he ain't dead. Unconditional surrender. I appreciate you putting a bullseye on your back to enlighten me and others. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate your donation, man. I appreciate your guys' support. We've got a lot of people in chat. I do appreciate if you hit like and subscribe. I am actually going to convert to full-time grifting. No, well, not really. I'm still going to be doing my other job, but I am hiring a company to help with some of the production stuff. I do a lot behind the scenes to get prepared for the streams, and that they'll help actually get some like clips and stuff like that out. So it'll like kind of round out the content on my YouTube and potentially X and my other platforms. It's mostly for you guys, so you don't have to watch all these 2.5-hour streams, and you can still get like the meat and the potatoes of the content. And that way, then the people that just want to listen to me raging about the UFO nut job people or whatever, they can watch the live streams. If they are going to say your explanation is wrong, they should offer their own competing explanation. Yeah, so here's another clip. Not clip, but thank you for that donation, by the way. Medicinal dad jokes. Another narrative you should spread. So one of them would be to ask about the 23-minute video. Another thing you can do is anybody that tries to claim the MH370 videos are fake or that I'm making up a fake story, you just ask them, what do you think happened to the plane? That's what you ask them. This is the best response you can ever give to a debunker. And sometimes people ask it. They go, what do you think happened? And they go, well, I don't know. It's kind of a mystery. And you're like, so you don't know what happened to the plane, but you're mad that this guy has a competing theory? Isn't that a little suspicious? Or the dumb ones go, it crashed into the ocean. The ocean's really big. Durr. If anybody says that, you immediately know they're an NPC. That's not an original thought. That's a thought that's been instilled upon people through brainwashing through the media. Is that the media, and not just the media, social media, because some people say, oh, I don't watch TV, so I'm not able to be brainwashed. Yes, you are being brainwashed by your peers. You are because they're watching TV. It's a lot more insidious than what people realize. This is why independent thought and not being a conformist is so important. Because your friends are watching TV. Your friends are absorbing TikTok videos. Your friends are absorbing narratives from Reddit that they read. And those are influencing you. And those narratives are made up and fake and planted for you to believe. And this is how brainwashing really works. And it's extremely powerful. So when somebody says, I don't know, like the pilot suicided it and it's somewhere in the ocean, we're never going to find it. Sorry, it's the middle of nowhere. The ocean's really big. You can bring up the fact there's satellite pings. Do you believe the satellite pings are real? If the satellite pings are real, we already searched everywhere where the plane could have crashed. So then the question is, okay, well, the satellite pings, are they fake? Oh, now you're a conspiracy theorist saying that the satellite pings are fake. It's very easy to catch people into a logical trap by just asking them, what do you think happened to the plane? And the other one you can say is, do you know that the official story of what happened in the plane is not that it crashed? Because if the official story was the plane crashed, Boeing would be on the hook for millions and millions and millions of dollars. So instead, the official story is they don't know what happened to the plane. So if you're trying to claim the high road that my story is fake and that I'm scamming people, then you should offer a competing story. That's a great question. So thank you, Medicinal Dad Jokes. Would you say Greer's woke disclosure? Absolutely not. No. Greer's not woke disclosure. The woke disclosure people hate Stephen Greer because they're pushing a fake story about the aliens are going to bring us, the aliens are coming to, make us feel good and save us or whatever, right? And actually, Greer pushes the same story, but Greer does what they don't do, which is that he actually talks to the engineers. So that makes the big difference is Greer actually talked to the engineers on the record as whistleblowers who are basically saying 0-point energy is the answer. We know because we watched all the videos. And so those guys hate Greer, which is funny because Jeremy Corbell, every video Jeremy Corbell has ever put out has been debunked. Every single one. But they still love the guy. They'll jerk him off, whatever they need to do. But Stephen Greer, they say, oh, they made up a fake story about Stephen Greer paying somebody to drop flares out of a plane, and therefore he's a grifter. Or they'll say, oh, he does CE5. So what, man? He does CE5? So what? Some people want to pay to go to Joshua Tree and hang out with Stephen Greer and go look at lights in the sky. Let them. Why does that bother you? They're adults. They can pay their money if they want to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't think it's real. But I'm open-minded if people show me actual evidence. But that doesn't mean that his interviews he did are wrong. It doesn't mean he's wrong about the technology and the science. Lost Century is like one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. It's a great documentary about free energy. It has nothing to do with aliens. I think that Dr. Greer is a little bit optimistic about the idea that aliens would care about saving us or care about not destroying us. I think they just don't care about us at all. I also think that he doesn't quite understand the commercialization of free energy. But that's fine. He's not woke disclosure, though. No. Jan. Okay. Thank you very much for that $5 donation. I appreciate you, man. Welcome to the party. Sorry, today is a little bit more ranty than usual. Love the rants, Ashton. Happy New Year. Thanks a lot. See how we are living. Appreciate it. Boy, how many more donations did you guys do while I was just sitting here doing donations? A tip for the information education you provide. Thank you, Mad Duck. And we're going to get to this secret cargo here right after this, and then we'll see how much time we have for Redacted after that. Alex Mogavero, thank you very much for that donation. Check out, check out Al Borelius? No, I don't think so. Sorry, I'm not familiar with him, but people bring up a lot of names. The truth is a lot of people have figured this out. And so some people are right when they say, Ashton, you haven't technically discovered anything yourself. You're right. I never really claimed that I did. But I am shining a light on stuff that nobody else is shining a light on at the moment. Somebody said today, like, Ashton acts like he discovered the DIRDs. In a way, I did. Nobody's talking about the Defense Intelligence Reference Documents, the DIRDs, which were all those papers I showed you guys the other day. Nobody's talking about them. It's literally just me. If you can find somebody else talking about those papers, actually reading the papers and understanding them and reporting on them, let me know. Because otherwise, yeah, pretty much just me. And I'm sitting here wondering, those papers were declassified like 6 or 8 years ago. I'm sitting here wondering, like, why am I the guy figuring this out 6 to 8 years after they've been declassified? This is another hit on the UFO community people. These people are doing nothing. Like, I'm literally reading all the scientific papers, researching the history of stuff like cold fusion, understanding how plasma works. These people in the UFO community are doing literally nothing except for sitting around and, like, judging people nonstop. Just like every person's like, who should we judge today? Oh, let's judge Stephen Greer. Let's judge Billy Carson. Let's judge every person we don't like. How about do some work? How about do some research? How about learn some science? This is why I can't stand. The reason why I can't stand the UFO people is that. That's why I can't stand them. The reason why I can't stand the debunker people, the skeptic people, is because they're idiots and they don't understand logic and reason. They literally just don't understand logic and reason. They don't understand. Like, to them, debunking means I don't want to believe in this. I'm going to come up with some nebulous reason that's not really any type of mathematical or logical proof to not believe in it. Like, both sides are just clowns. Okay. I donated before you played the Tim Dillon clip. Let's play it again. I'm not going to play it again. I'm going to post it on my X, but thank you. We are the change. Appreciate you, man. Juracy? I'm probably butchering that. All I know is I don't want to be on a plane when the U.S. decides that someone there needs to be disappeared. Yes. When you get on board the plane, you should be like, hey, are there any semiconductor engineers on board this plane? Any parties of 20 engineers? If so, I'm just going to get the next one. I'll get the next plane. You guys take that one. Best of luck. Hope your landing gear works. Hope you don't get zapped by some orbs or a directed energy weapon. Giovanni, what do you think of the new timescape hypothesis replacing lambda CDM? Not familiar. You know what? I'll look it up real quick, though. New timescape. I don't know if this is a troll message. Oh, is this one about dark? Yeah, I think I saw this post. I didn't actually read it. I didn't read this, actually. So I think the gist is lumpy universe expansion. Yeah, okay. I vaguely remember this. I didn't even read it because I just figured like 0 point energy already explains it well enough. But that's a good question. I'll probably look into that, actually, after this. That's a good topic for me to look into during one of our science streams. Thanks, Giovanni. Fug70. I was told by the UFO community to send grifts here. Thank you. You guys are triggering them so much, by the way. Like, I'm pretty sure the 2 nights ago, the amount of donations was actually out of control, but I'm pretty sure you guys gave me more donations in one night than some of those people get in like a month. So they were triggered, chat. Very, very triggered. Thank you for putting together all the details to support your hypothesis. I'm convinced. Thank you very much. Pair of shotgun pants or shoot pants. Parachute pants. Parachute pants. Yeah, and I haven't actually updated the evidence list in a long time. There's actually an evidence list out there that I've got. You can probably find it in the Discord. It has all the evidence listed in it, and you can kind of go through it. But the science part is really out of date now. Tracy, if you want ZPE, then share to as many as you can. Don't stop talking about it. There's so many ways we can get people interested. Use them all. It's true. Tracy's actually done a huge amount of work. So big shout out to Tracy on getting the information out there. It's hard for people to wrap their brain around, especially if they're not science-based. Complizzier, Ash Bruddy, thoughts on Dark Journalist? I've talked about Dark Journalist before, but not that recently. So I don't really like his gimmick in terms of wearing a suit and gelling his hair the way he does. But yeah, everybody can do whatever they want for the most part. I'm just more of a normal dude, not trying to play a character. But Dark Journalist doesn't think the videos are real, and I kind of judge anyone harshly that can't tell the videos are real because, like, again, it's 2 military videos in perfect synchronization from two different angles. Anybody that respects Mick West or people like the Corridor Crew or any of these people, like, and I don't mean this is not coming from a personal place. Like, I watched the Corridor Crew's debunk videos that they've done, including the one they did of the DoD Navy videos that are real. They debunked real videos. Like objectively real videos. Tried to claim it was like some balloons. I don't watch idiots like that. And anybody that gets tricked by like low intelligence, low information content like that, I don't really respect their opinion. And Dark Journalist is one of those people. Like, Dark Journalist is through and through a conspiracy theorist. Like, you know, he digs for the conspiracy that's behind the scenes. And I think that anybody that does journalism like that can find the answer. But to be truly, let's say, this is a little narcissistic. To be truly intelligent means to not just be able to absorb information, but to be able to see through lies and see the truth in the lies. Because not every conspiracy theory is correct. But we're doing pretty good so far for the conspiracy theorists that are out there. We've been batting very, very well in the last 4 or 5 years. Conspiracy theorists are pretty solid. But that doesn't mean that everything is a conspiracy theory. And that's where I think Dark Journalist doesn't have that discernment capability to really dig in and to be able to separate. That's my opinion on him. A lot of people want me to do something with Dark Journalist. It's probably not me holding it back. He's never reached out or ever tried to talk to me. So, Alexander, the information you get out there is rare and nobody else is doing it. Yeah, and this is the thing too. Nobody is doing this. When I talked to the production company, they were super excited to work on my content because they're like, nobody is talking about this. This is a completely new niche that nobody's digging into. This idea of United States possibly reverse engineered, but exotic technology based on physics, plasmoids, free energy, with capability of stuff like teleportation. Nobody's talking about that. And it broaches on the conspiracy angle as well. I mean, we literally stole an airliner. Wow, Mark Scott. No, what? I forgot to lower the threshold. Mark, wow, man. I hope you're like really rich. I really do. That way I won't feel like that bad. Man, thank you so much. It's so crazy, man. You guys are making this into a real show. Like maybe it won't. Maybe like next time I stream, I won't have like this janky background with like all this white. Like maybe I'll upgrade a little bit so for you guys to make it a little bit better. Oh, I have the lights. There we go. Fix that mood light. There you go. Just for you, Mark. Mark, just for you. A little bit of OnlyFans. It's not a deep V today, guys. It's not a deep V today, guys. Anyway, thank you so much, Mark. Awesome. Okay. Khaleesi, why do you think the families went silent? I know why the families went silent. They got paid off out of the settlements. Once they took the settlements, they couldn't talk anymore. So very few families are speaking out now. And also, a lot of them, only a few of them, not very many spoke English. So that's why it was mostly Sarah who was the one who was speaking out all the time. And I understand they don't believe the videos are real. One day they'll come to accept the videos are real. It may take a while. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay. Damn. I'm just reading the chat from when I pulled my shirt off. You guys crack me up. Okay, we're back to regular chat now, guys. Wait, is there another donation? Okay, chill with donations so I can finish the stream. I'm going to hold all the rest of the donations till the end of the stream. So chill, chat. Idle time. Thank you very much. Grift. Who cares? I'm just hooking Ashton up with some coffee. Hell yeah. Love it. Okay, let's get to some stuff here, guys. You guys are going crazy. Okay, so I spoke to the AARO yesterday. The AARO's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, they report to the Pentagon. So when I say I'm talking to the Pentagon, I really am talking to AARO, but they do report to the Pentagon. They were upset that I recorded our last call. I understand it. I actually feel bad, and I felt bad, and I told them I felt bad. And basically, we didn't have the same conversation that we've normally had because of me, secretly recording the AARO's phone call, So I told him I will delete the phone call after I make sure that the case is submitted and I have an official record for it. So they sent me the official thing. I can update it, and then it's going to go back. And then the MH370 case will be part of the next AARO record, the AARO record. I don't know what they'll say about it. And this goes to Congress as well. So Congress is going to read a report by the AARO that will have the MH370 video be part of it. That's huge. That means there's a non-zero chance that I get called to testify to Congress next year on this topic, especially if AARO either confirms the videos, or they cannot debunk the videos. Even if AARO cannot debunk the videos, that's compelling. If AARO says we have these anomalous videos of Malaysian Airlines disappearing out of the sky and we have no claim to say that they're fake, that's huge revelation. AARO's basically said that everything is fake that's out there. So I think that's massive. I told him that he needs to focus on the assets. I told him it's whammy footage. It's the Navy that's doing it. I'm at this point, I'm ready to point the finger at the Navy. I'm pointing the finger at the Navy. The Navy was conducting the operation. Maybe it was a SEAL Team 6 thing, for all I know. But the Navy was doing that operation. That's why Edward C. Lynn is also the guy that leaked the videos. The Navy was using the whammy footage, and I told him, confirm any of this stuff, man. Confirm that drone footage is accurate. Confirm that the satellite footage is accurate, the whammy footage. I said, find Edward Lynn. Just find Edward Lynn and find out if he leaked the videos. It's so easy. There's no excuse, man. Edward Lynn was in the military. You've got all his information. You know exactly where he lives. Just contact Edward Lynn. Tell him to tell you that the videos are real. And so this is the thing I told you guys. I told him two things. I don't trust anyone, but I do think that the Arrow person I spoke to is a legit guy. I think he's a legit guy. And I told him, I asked him basically whose side he's on. I said, I'm not going to say his name, but I said his name and I said, hey, what side of this are you on? Are you like Lou Elizondo and you're going to choose national security over disclosure? Or are you going to choose disclosure? And I said, if we have some kind of super weapon and we've been reverse engineering this, and if you were to reveal this information, it would get made public. Would you choose disclosure or would you choose national security? And he dodged the question. He dodged the question. He said, that's a hard question. I can't really answer. It's too hard. And I told him. And I said, okay. And then the second thing I said is, here's another thought I wanted you to think of. I said, if this technology, this alien technology or whatever you want to call it that we've got, exotic technology, does allow for like free energy, but free energy could mean a weapon that would annihilate the entire planet, would you still want it? Would you still want disclosure of that, or would you hide it? Would you protect it? Protect it because any other foreign adversary that were to get this technology would weaken the United States. I asked him that. And he dodged that question again. And I said, it's fine if you don't answer the question. I just want you thinking about it. And then the other thing I told him was that you don't need to waste time on any other AARO reports. They're all useless compared to the information that I've given you. I said, I gave you 2 military videos in perfect synchronization. You can easily confirm the videos are real. And you can also find the guy that leaked them and confirm that as well. I said, all you have to go is do it. You don't need to be wasting time with some dude saying that he was in the jungle and he saw a UFO. There's not going to be there's nothing to dig down. You're not going to find anything about that. I've already given him the proof. Just look at the videos. So that was how the conversation went down, guys. So we'll see. I don't know. All I know is I'm getting my receipt. We're making the case happen. Okay, we've been going a little bit longer than I thought. So let's watch this other video. I don't want to leave you guys in too much suspense here. Okay, so I will answer some MH370 questions of my choosing while we're watching this, although my chat's all messed up. Okay, let's watch it in higher speed. So the reason why we're watching this is twofold. What is this? Oh, there it is. One, this guy, this was in April of 2014. So this is 1 month. Oh, let me fix this. This is 1 month after the plane disappeared. And they're presenting a very similar case to what we have put forth. So the conspiracy theorists were all over this one. Oh, there's a Sarfati thing I want to go over too, but we'll do it after this. I might have to go find it. I actually felt bad for Sarfati, man. Can you believe I felt bad for Jack Sarfati? What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me, chat? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So this guy, the conspiracy theorists were all over MH370, like white on rice. Now, the problem was that what really happened to MH370 was so insane, what we see in the videos, it was so insane that not even the conspiracy theorists could figure this one out. Because even the conspiracy theorists are like, wait, what? We teleported an airplane? Now, if the conspiracy theorists knew that teleportation was real, they would have probably figured out the whole thing. Especially if these videos were on the internet, they would have been like, oh, here's the answer right away. But this was so incredible. Despite that we have absolute proof in the form of 2 videos, 2 leaked military videos, this was so incredible that not even the conspiracy theorists, the UFO people, nobody could figure it out. It was too beyond where we were at as a civilization. But that doesn't mean everything that they're saying here is invalid. Near the end of this, and we may skip ahead through some parts, near the end of this guy presents a theory for what it was. What was the intellectual property and possibly cargo on the plane that was being taken to China? Why this plane was a target? Everybody always asks, Why this plane? Why this plane? Why this plane? To me, that's the craziest part because the conspiracy theorists figured this out within days. Within days, people looked at the manifest. They realized there's 20 Freescale semiconductor engineers on board. They started digging into it, and it was shady as hell. They're connected to U.S. aerospace and defense. Like, oh, there's 20 semiconductor engineers, and they're connected to U.S. aerospace and defense, and this plane just disappeared going to China? Guys, it's pretty clear, I think, right?
Possibly think of, with the exception of the obvious, I might add that this plane was kidnapped by the military, landed at a military base, and remains there as we speak. The day this happened, actually, which was March.
So right away, like the conspiracy theorists figured it out. They're like, the U.S. military took the plane. We took the plane and we landed at a military base, guys. Like, it's actually just not even that confusing. If you really to boil the story down, the U.S. military took the plane and they took it to a military base. Why is that hard to believe? You don't think our military can steal a plane and land it at a military base? And everybody goes, you're a conspiracy theorist. The U.S. government never does anything bad. They would never do anything bad. Right? It's like, it's crazy. And instead, these people just invent this story of like, no, the U.S. government could never do it. It was a suicidal pilot, despite the fact that they found his medical records and he had nothing going on wrong. Everybody stuck up for him. There's no evidence it was the pilot whatsoever. His voice is totally calm when in last communication. The flight track is consistent with an emergency event, not a suicidal pilot. There's no such thing as a suicidal pilot going on an 8-hour joyride until the fuel runs out. Nothing. Right? Like, come on, man. The U.S. took the plane. We landed at a military base. Easy. Easy.
8th. That night, oddly enough, I had dinner with a woman that was a former employee for about 8 years for Malaysian Airlines. A white lady worked for Malaysian Airlines in Malaysia, and her husband was a pilot as well. And so we had dinner, and she was the one that told me that Malaysia Airlines was immensely corrupt, that the whole country was corrupt, that these pilots could be bought off for money, that there's a possibility of pirates actually maybe paying these people to hijack the plane, and that she was the one that really turned me on to it, saying you have to look at who was on the plane and what was on the plane. Specifically. So within about 48 hours of this, and actually when the plane first disappeared, and I had a chance to take a look at the radar telemetry that was posted on the net by a guy by the name of Dahub77. He posted the telemetry on the net where you saw a group of rather mysterious about 4 aircraft off the eastern coast of Malaysia when the MH370 actually then made its turn.
I'm going to skip past this part just in the sake of time, but he basically talks about the flight radar thing when there was some weird blips, but that evidence, I've never reported on that evidence because it was never compelling to me. I just assume that there can be some glitch. And the reason why also I didn't report on it is that Mike McKay saw the plane when the plane disappeared. If he saw something in the sky in addition to the plane, he would have reported on it. So that's the reason why what he's talking about right here, I did not find very credible. But it doesn't matter. Again, guys, we don't judge people based on, oh, you said this one thing. This guy is just investigating and throwing out all the evidence out there for people. This particular piece of evidence I did not find compelling.
We're not supposed to have anything that can go 1,200 miles in about 7 seconds or so. And it was scrubbed to the point where even people who had saved the link at how the plane turned and then draw a straight line. And if you just draw a straight line, that straight line leads you to a what they call a black site U.S. military base that's shared by the U.S. Navy and Great Britain, which is called Diego Garcia, which is now becoming rather famous around the world. Diego Garcia has been what we call a black site prison for a period of time. It's where we torture people. It's where we send people to we torture them, and then we turn them loose and make them targets of opportunity and shoot them until they're dead. So
kind of like Guantanamo Bay.
It's like, guys, there's this, it's like, dude, of course we flew the plane to Diego Garcia. It's like, oh, the plane was flying back to the west. Oh, it turns out there's our super secret military base in the middle of nowhere in the ocean right to the west. So, of course, people right away were going, and nobody knew about Diego Garcia back then. It's the new Area 51. Like, this case put Diego Garcia on the map. And, by the way, it's a CIA black site where we literally have a prison there where we put the worst terrorists when we want to literally torture them. When we literally want to torture the terrorists, we bring them to Diego Garcia. Of course, that's where this plane went. It's not in some The pilot did not perfectly land a Boeing 777 on the ocean and then just have it sink down. I swear to God, man. Sometimes I wish people could think.
Worse. Guantanamo Bay people know about. Diego Garcia people don't know about. Diego Garcia is what happens if you are working on a top secret Black Ops project and you spill the beans to somebody or you talk to the wrong person. That's where they send you where nobody knows where you're ever going.
That is a claim I hadn't heard. Diego Garcia is where if you're a black project engineer and you spill some secrets, that's where they send you. Wow. That's like, yeah, because it's, I mean, not just that it's off soil, but like it's in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's coming to find you on Diego Garcia.
We're going to go. So as this comes down, I started talking about Diego Garcia. This plane's obviously Diego Garcia. I also pointed out that if the plane disappeared from radar, that would rule out a hijacking. That would rule out anything that you would have to do with the plane crashing or the plane having to do with being hijacked by pirates or whatever. Because anybody controlling inside the plane would not be able to make an entire aircraft disappear from radar, as an example.
Boom. You know what? Sometimes you just have to go back to the basics. What did he just say there? He said nobody inside the plane can make the plane just disappear. That's not something you can actually do. It got retconned into this idea that you can just turn a dial inside the airplane and turn off all the signals and just make it go dark. That's not true. No fucking way. No way whatsoever. I'm pretty sure they just made up that's just a myth that I think is getting spread around after this because people were trying to rationalize how the plane just disappeared. Because they can't. They can't do that. That's not a thing that you can do inside an airplane. Anybody claiming different, just prove me wrong. Just turn a plane off. I want to see you make the plane go completely dark so that radar can't even find it. It got lost from radar? Walk me through this. There are 4 backup APU power systems on board the plane. How do all 4 go out at the same time? This is the part where, like, if people just need to, again, think critically. Even the New York Times was asking during the press conferences, how does the plane just go completely dark? Is that even something the pilot can do? And the Minister of Transportation's response is, we're looking into that. What do you mean you're looking into that? The guy literally responds and goes, what do you mean? Like, isn't that something you should just know? It's just a yes or no question. Can somebody make a plane go dark? The answer is no, they can't. And the official investigators said they were not under the impression this is something that could have been done by the pilot. Another independent investigator said that it's not possible for one person to turn off all the APUs in 64 seconds, which was the time period allotted. This does not get talked about on any of the YouTube channels where you guys watch stuff about MH370. Never gets mentioned. Reason why it doesn't get mentioned is because those people don't actually do any real investigation. They don't think for themselves. All they're doing is regurgitating other people's content. Kind of depressing how sad it is that people just don't have any critical thinking abilities whatsoever.
So that's the first thing. Then we started looking into who was on the plane and what was on the plane. The biggest thing that came up first in this, and I'm not sure if I was the first one that came up with it, but there was a lot of chatter information about this, had to do with a very interesting company out of Austin, Texas called Freescale Semiconductors. Freescale Semiconductors had 20 of its main executives on that aircraft. And
okay, for the people that it was not their executives on the aircraft, but it was important engineers. So he gets a couple facts wrong. Yes, for the people who are wondering in the chat, there absolutely 100% was 20 Freescale Semiconductor engineers on board the plane. We independently, Arwin of MH370X, independently checked up every single person on the plane and all their seat arrangements for every single person. We know exactly what seats every single Freescale Semiconductor engineer was in. They were all sitting next to each other as well. Some of them had their whole families with them. Why would you bring your whole family with you on a work trip for 1 week? You're on a 1 week work trip and you got your whole family, even your kids with you? Kind of seems like you're running away. That's also way too many people for a company where intellectual property and capability, like engineers, are so important. You would never put that many people on the same plane.
most of whom, by the way, were Chinese, strange enough, because they worked in Malaysia, and the plane was actually then headed to Beijing.
Most of them were not.
So
Chinese.
it was actually then headed for Beijing. So then the information started coming out that 4 people on the aircraft actually had rights to a base patent for a new type of computer chip, a die on a computer chip, that would then allow you to charge electrical batteries very, very rapidly.
Okay. First of all, this is the conspiracy theory related to these people that the CIA has used to discredit this full story. It turns out these 4 people were not on board the plane. The 4 people in question, at least, unless they could have manipulated the manifest, but according to the manifest that we saw, the 4 people that own this patent were not on the plane. The story goes that when those 4 people died, the patent reverts to the Rothschilds. That's also not how patents work either. These patents are owned by the company, even though they're in the names of these individuals. They're not owned by those individuals. So that story fell apart. A lot of you guys will see that story. Sometimes you see Dick Gregory saying that there was these 4 people on board and the patents related to them. That's all fake. That's fake. But that doesn't mean the 20 Freescale semiconductor engineers are not the motive. They're definitely the motive. 8 of them are Chinese and 12 of them are Malaysian. And they work for the American company Freescale Semiconductors, tied to U.S. Aerospace and Defense. They're flying to Beijing. It doesn't seem like a stretch to me to think that China was flipping some of these people, especially the Chinese nationals, flipping them. Now, this thing about the dies, that's a real patent. That's a real patent. Maximizing the number of dies on a wafer. Wafer is a microchip. In fact, they're probably a lot smaller than that. So maximizing the number of dies. And the interesting part about it is this. He says something about charging. This is an interesting thought. Because I keep wondering, like, what is the technology in these people's heads? Or what is the technology that they might have in the cargo bay that was so important to prevent China from getting it? This could be it. So let's listen to that part again.
Had rights to a base patent for a new type of computer chip, a die on a computer chip, that would then allow you to charge electrical batteries very, very rapidly. And if you look at what the next generation of electric batteries is going to be, the only thing that's stopping electric cars or something like the Tesla, as an example, of competing directly head-to-head with gasoline-powered automobiles, internal combustion engines, is that it takes a very long time to charge the batteries. In other words, you pull it into your house, and it takes anywhere from 6 to 8 hours overnight to be able to charge your car. These would then be able to pull into a gas station where you would have a pump that would have, unleaded, diesel, and electric. Plug this thing into your car. Within 10 minutes, you would be able to charge your car, and that would put you head-to-head against the actual oil companies.
Wow. Wow, chat. That is interesting angle. That is an interesting angle. Why? Because what he's saying is that what if they had invented a way where you could power something electric, something big and electric, like a car battery, massive car battery, in just 10 minutes? Now, that's basically a better charging system than gas. The big downside to electric cars is how long it takes to charge the battery, as opposed to going to the gas station and just filling up. So there's that angle, which I like. But then there's the other angle of what is the technology to be able to do that? What allows for super speed charging? And the first thing I thought of is something called supercapacitors and ultracapacitors. So quickly, I'm going to teach you guys the difference and what these words mean. A battery. I don't have one near me, but imagine this is a battery. Battery, positive and negative. The benefit of a battery is that the charge takes a long time to equalize if you were just to have it sit around. Your battery might last for like a year or two before it just goes bad and no longer works anymore. Capacitor is similar. Positive charge, negative charge. A capacitor can only store energy for a short period of time. Let's say a few hours. And then it will equalize, and now there's no charge stored up in here anymore. So there's a big benefit to a battery over a capacitor. The benefit of a capacitor is that you can pull all this charge out and equalize it very fast. So if you need all this energy right away, you use a capacitor because it doesn't store energy for as long, but it can store more energy and it can give it to you in a big burst. For a battery, the battery will lose energy slower over time if it's not plugged in, but It has less energy density, or it has less energy density as well. But oh, I just flipped that around. Okay, it has less energy density overall. It takes less time to discharge. But you can also not pull the energy out faster. It's slow to pull the energy out compared to a capacitor. So what's a supercapacitor? A supercapacitor is a capacitor that can store the energy for a very long time. I hope I said those correctly. I might have said one part backwards. But so the supercapacitor is basically like a battery, but way better. That's what a supercapacitor or an ultracapacitor is. That now you have a device that's like a battery. It can store this energy in here for a very long time, has a massive energy density, and you can pull it out, all the energy out right away, all at once. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about super and ultra capacitors. He's saying we can make an ultra capacitor. We can have this thing, have this bunch of this energy ready to go. And we can just, boom, either you can improve the battery in your car with this and turn it into, instead of using lithium ion batteries, use ultra capacitors or super capacitors in your car. Or we have those super capacitors in our charging stations, and we can use that with some type of technology to allow our car to charge super fast. This is really interesting. Like supercapacitors are very, very powerful technology that I think is another one of the technologies that we should be talking about that the world doesn't really understand. And I didn't understand it until like a year ago. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. Okay, here we go.
So these people had a patent for this, which was worth about $400 billion. Now, these 4 people had the patent. They'd applied for the patent. The patent had not yet been approved. The plane disappears, and 48 hours later, the patent is approved by the U.S. Patent Office. And if these people are now dead, then the patent goes to the 5th person that owned the patent, which is Freescale Semiconductor. And Freescale Semiconductor is owned by a company called Blackstone. Mm-hmm. Blackstone is controlled almost exclusively by Lord Jacob Rothschild. So that's the connection there with that. Now, what was on the plane? Now,
the Rothschild thing's not that wrong because they were invested in them in Freescale. Blackstone was invested in Freescale. That's actually true.
Only wanted to get rid of the people on the plane, you would just shoot it down, as an example, or engineer a crash. But inside the plane, as an example, this lady's for chatting. Inside the plane, the mainstream media actually started talking about how the and we said this first, by the way, the alternative media and my show, StrangeUniverseRadio.com and Revolution Radio, which is what I'm on. We talked about first that there's something in the plane that was either nuclear, biological, or some sort of prototype battery, because again, it was heading towards Beijing. So what happened with the prototype batteries? Then the press started talking about, mainstream press picked up the fact that there were cases or pallets, if you will, of ion batteries on the plane, and they were saying that somehow the ion batteries may have caused this plane to disappear from radar. It gets stupider from there. Right.
I feel personally attacked, bro. You just made up a fake story about patent holders that weren't even on the plane, and now you think that it being a battery fire is stupid. Here's the truth about what he just said, guys. Okay, so go ahead and hate on him for the battery comment. It was a really dumb comment that he said about the battery. Back in 2014, we did not understand how dangerous lithium-ion batteries were. So his comment there was because he didn't understand how dangerous lithium-ion batteries were. If that guy understood how dangerous lithium-ion batteries were, he would not have ever made that comment. In 2014, we had almost no idea. And that was part of the reason why the battery fire scenario went under the radar. Nowadays, we see all these battery fires everywhere. Lithium-ion battery fires, like, super scary. So nowadays, if this thing had come up, the lithium-ion battery fire would have been way bigger on people's radar. But here's the thing. What if some of the batteries on board the plane, there was some cargo that was unaccounted for on board this plane? And I've never really dug into it. But what if some of these prototype supercapacitors or ultra capacitors, they weren't just batteries? What if they were actually ultra capacitors or supercapacitors and they were taking them to China? What if that's the technology that the Freescale Semiconductor engineers were bringing? Because remember, the cover story was they were upgrading the power plants in China. They were trying to go upgrade the plants there. What if they were bringing something with them as a prototype to help those plants to be able to reproduce that product? That, it seems actually like a compelling story. Now, we don't have any hard evidence for it, but I've never heard anything related to what the secret cargo was that really rang true to me until I heard that guy talk about that. So let me play that one more time because I think that's an important part. Like, this is the big clue here, this 20 seconds.
Sort of prototype battery, because again, it was heading towards Beijing. So what happened with the prototype battery is then the press started talking about, ministry press picked up the fact that there were cases or pallets, if you will, of ion batteries on the plane, and they were saying that somehow the ion batteries may have caused this plane to disappear from radar. It gets stupider from there.
Right.
What these batteries were.
Wrong about that, but okay.
They were prototypes of these next generation of fast charging batteries, and they were taking them to Beijing probably to show them somebody there as to to then take them to a factory and then mass produce them.
Right.
So that's probably what was on the plane that we didn't want the Chinese to have,
right,
or what have you. So it would explain if you have the people that own the patents, they're done now. The $400 billion now devolves to Freescale and the Rothschilds. You have the batteries on the plane and the prototypes. Now you have those. So the next question becomes, how do we know that the plane is a Diego Garcia? We know the plane's a Diego Garcia. Number one.
So the prototype battery thing is wild. Like. Yeah. Wait, how do I dab? Wait, hold on. Oh, you couldn't see me. Okay. Prototype battery story, I like. I don't know. I like it. Okay. So then the next part is Diego Garcia.
Because there were certain fails in the plan of whoever this was, and I'm pretty much betting this was the U.S. Navy. Because the U.S. Navy is the only one that has the equipment, that has the technology, that has the capabilities to be able to do something like this.
Okay, it was the U.S. Navy. This is like, look, guys. He's like, it's the U.S. Navy. They're the only ones that the technology to do this. And Edward C. Lynn was in the Navy. He leaked the videos. I don't think that's coincidence. At this point, there's no fucking way it can be coincidence. And the intercepted communication, that China intercepted communication from the U.S. Navy. And it was of MH370. Of MH370, the pilot saying the plane was disintegrating and attempting an emergency landing. Yes, you heard that correctly. China intercepted a communication from the U.S. Navy that was of MH370, of the pilot saying the plane was disintegrating and attempting an emergency landing. How did people just ignore? And also, the Russian GRU report also said that they were confused as to why the U.S. Navy abducted the plane. That's like 4 different sources all claiming it was the U.S. Navy. Of course, the U.S. Navy took the plane. It's actually just wild. Like, I'm just pointing the finger right at the Navy now. We're just pointing it right at the Navy. They're the ones who did this.
Again, if you have a pilot simply hijacking a plane, a pilot cannot make a plane disappear from radar.
Right.
And when this plane actually did, and theoretically, the plane only disappeared from civilian radar. So here's what happens. The plane goes out. This is my theory. The plane goes out. It's about an hour outside of landfall into the ocean on its way to Beijing.
That's also a really great point, guys. And thank you for all the viewers here, is that you cannot make a plane disappear from radar. Like, the more I think about it, the more insane it sounds. How do they think you're making a plane disappear from radar? That's not something you can turn off from inside the plane. If I'm shooting a radar at you, it's my radar beam that I'm shooting at you, the electromagnetic wave that I'm shooting at you, and it's bouncing off your object and then coming back. That's how radar works. What were people talking about? Like, it was lost from radar. Like, this is the thing that, like, it made no sense right after this happened, to the degree where everybody just lost the ability to think. What the fuck? How could it be lost just from primary radar, but not military radar? And people were like, oh, it's the ACARS system in the plane. I don't need an ACARS system. I'm literally shooting an electromagnetic wave at you, and it's reflecting off of you. That's what radar is. That's what radar is. Can somebody just, like, am I on crazy pills here? Because if I'm saying something wrong, like, I want to understand it. I really do. There's just no way you can make a plane disappear. And I don't know how people, like, just ignore this. They just ignore it. It's like, yeah, it was like the pilot just made the plane disappear from radar. Did he hack the radars on the ground to make them stop working? Or how does it not make the plane disappear from military radar but civilian radar? I swear, man. And for the record, I'll even show you this. Guys, like, if you're new to the case, realize I'm not I'm not like a lightweight on this case. Like, I literally know more than probably everyone on the planet, except for maybe Florence Tachangi about this plane. And one of the images I have, my favorite one, is the radar coverage. You can actually just see, they have maps of the radar coverage. The real investigators that claim to be experts looked at this stuff, and they basically, like, I don't know, you tell me, guys, pretend like this is the first time you've seen this. This is the radar coverage. The location where the plane disappeared, I'm going to zoom in for you. This yellow line, where this yellow line ends, is where the plane disappeared. This is where they claim they lost all contact with the plane. No radar, nothing. I see how many radars? 1 radar, 2 radars, 3 radars, 4 radars, 5 radars outside of this one. This one's kind of on the edge, just past that. I see 5 radars that this plane is either within actively or about to be within. 5 different radars. One says Indian radar. One says Taiwan and Indonesia. 5 radars, 5 different radars from 3 different countries this plane is within range of. Is it able to cloak itself from Indian radar but not Malaysian radar? Like, I seriously wonder, can people actually just think for themselves? The ONI, is that who I'm supposed to be FOIAing? Oh, Office of Naval Intelligence. Oh, shit. Jeremy Reese in the chat with the good ideas. Oh, okay. Office of Naval Intelligence officers right now are going like full on like FBI, like kill themselves mode, because I'm about to FOIA the shit out of the ONI. Now that I know the Navy is the ones responsible for this operation, you better have burned all the operation stuff, because I'm FOIAing everything. I'm coming back. I'm like, it's like that movie, the Facebook movie or whatever. It's like, I'm not coming back for half of it. I'm coming back for all of it, motherfucker. That's what I'm doing to the Navy right now. I'm coming back for all of it, brother. I'm going to FOIA everything. The fire suppression device, the communication, Office of Naval Intelligence. They're the ones that are going to have it. Yeah, good call. These goddamn douchebags and their FOIAs, dude. I've got so many FOIAs, I could play a game of Pokemon cards, dude. I have like 25 different FOIAs, and they're all basically just rejections. Okay, let's get back to my boy.
It's the most likely scenario of this is probably somebody comes over on a military frequency, says to the pilot, there's a bomb on the plane, or there's terrorism, or what have you. The plane's in danger, state of emergency. You will shut down all your communications. You will follow us, and you will go to this longitude and latitude. And the pilot would have to obey.
Wow. Now you see why I had to share this interview. So now what does he just say right there? He says, this is probably what happened. Somebody came over on a military frequency and said, you have to go to these coordinates. Go to these coordinates right now. That's what happened, man. That's what I've been saying I think happened. And I think that's what happened after Penang. Here's the flight path. The flight's going up here. Let me zoom forward a little bit. Turns around, goes to Penang. Gets to Penang, and then it goes over here to the Nicobar Islands. But it takes a deviation here. It turns northwest. Why is it going northwest? Because the Navy got in communications with them and said, hey, come meet us over here in the Nicobar Islands and then land the plane in the ocean. They said, land the plane in the ocean. Navy assets will intercept you, and we will dig you out of the water or whatever, right? That's the reason why the plane's going up here. They're like, you can make it 20 more minutes, get over to our boat or whatever. We got some assets over here. And then they orbed the plane instead. They were like, just kidding. Time to get orbed.
Or the pilot was in on it, as an example. Now, there's a lot of people in alternative media that are also talking about
pilot could have been in on it as well.
How the plane could have been taken over by a device which is called fly-by-wire. And all 777s are equipped with this technology. All it allows you to do is a military craft, fighter jet, or an AWAC, or any military craft. If a plane is being hijacked, you can actually take over the plane, and you can lock out the pilots, and you can take over the automatic autopilot. but that's it.
Yeah.
You can't land a plane with that. You can't do intricate maneuvers with it. Yes.
I've heard a term called uninterruptible autopilot as a technology that seems to be it's been described as similar to what you're describing.
It's called fly-by-wire.
Yeah, it could be the uninterruptible autopilot is almost, I mean, come on, guys. You don't think they can remote control an airplane? Of course they can remote control an airplane. Like, if you're struggling with remote control, the idea that we could remote control an airplane, I'm sorry, man. You are so many decades behind. That's technology that's like probably 70 years old. Like 70-year-old technology. Like remote controlling airplanes is trivial.
Wire. But fly-by-wire still, in order for you to actually fly a plane completely as a drone, that would take probably another $1 million worth of hardware, which anybody on the ground would see, as an example. You have all kinds of checks that these things go through. So it's unlikely. The only way you can probably do that, like I'm convinced they did in 9/11, was you have to switch the planes midair. You have to land the other planes and then exchange them with planes that you're actually flying via Xbox or whatever it is you are, which is what they did at 9/11, by the way. They landed all 4 of those aircraft at Andrews Air Force Base, and they replaced the 4 planes in the air with drones. Anyway, so going back to this, you then draw a straight line from Diego Garcia. Here's the fails in their plan. Number 1, they did not count on the Malaysian military having radar as good as it was, because the Malaysian military then tracked the aircraft all the way across the island of Malaysia until it got out another 1,000 miles or so outside the range of the military. Number 2, you had eyewitnesses who then saw the plane flying at a fairly low altitude, about 12,000 feet or so, over islands, which are on a direct straight line to Diego Garcia. Number 3, Rolls-Royce has transponders in every single one of their engines that ping Rolls-Royce 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that all you would have to do is interview a pilot. Any pilot who's flown a 777. And those pilots will tell you, if we ever had a problem with the engines, we would not even know that the engine would have a problem. We would land on the ground. We would be told by Rolls-Royce. They would have a crew on the ground who would be there to be able to fix the engine, to get the plane back into the sky so the airline could keep making money.
Bam. The Rolls-Royce thing is another one where it's so much stuff that you just have to ignore that's just so common sense. And keep in mind, again, guys, there's no official story of what happened in this plane. At least in 9/11, you've got planes crashing into buildings and people were there recording it, staring at it, right? You can come to a conclusion. And this is just like, oh, the plane's just gone. Sorry, that plane's gone. What do you mean it's gone? Yeah, it's just gone. What do you mean? It's just gone. What's the story? It's gone. Did it crash? No, it's gone. You're like, you have no story here, but we have Rolls-Royce engines, real-time transmission of engine data, and we're just literally never going to talk about that? Wall Street Journal talked to Rolls-Royce, and they got someone to go on the record saying that the engine data was transmitting data for 4.5 hours after the plane was lost from radar. Who did they talk to? That's pretty damning testimony. They had to retract the article because the officials from Malaysia claimed that it was fake. Of course it wasn't fake. Of course the Rolls-Royce engine was transmitting data. You can't disable that. There's not a button to disable the Rolls-Royce engines transmitting the data. And they try to claim, oh, well, it was transmitting through the ACAR system. Well, they claim the ACAR system turned back on. They claim the ACAR system turned back on. They claim it turned back on at 1825 UTC, 3 minutes after the plane disappeared from radar, even though we know it didn't because we just looked at a picture where it's still in range of 5 radars. So, like, none of the story that people are trying to present, like, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. And it's clear, like, no doubt, that they're hiding information from us, the public. Why wouldn't Rolls-Royce immediately just come out the very same day and say, hey, guys, hand in the air. Like, I'm Rolls-Royce. Hey, everybody, we have this engine data. A lot of people don't know about it, but we do. It's transmitting all the time. We're going to give the information to the public. Why wouldn't they do that? People's lives could be on the line. It's pretty wild. So the Rolls-Royce thing is huge, guys. And again, now we know that they're lying about the radar. We know that the United States military 100% knows what happened to the plane. They know exactly what happened. Not like vaguely knows what happened. The United States military knows exactly what happened in this plane. Even if you ignore the videos, even if you ignore everything else I said here, we still know 100% the United States government knows exactly what happened to MH370. That should be the first point you bring up before even bringing up the videos. The videos are obviously real. The thing that you should bring up to people is Because a lot of people are just like NPC level, zoned out with the world. Like they can't accept this because it'll break them. You just say, do you understand the United States surveillance system means that nothing can disappear on planet Earth? Certainly not in 2014. Between our acoustic systems in the ocean, between our satellites and our whammy footage of the entire planet all the time, SIBRs, between our over-the-horizon radar, we're just bouncing off the ionosphere. They can see for thousands of miles. There is no disappearing on this earth. The United States government 100% knows what happened to the plane. You have to get anyone to admit that. Because when they admit that, then it throws a huge monkey wrench in their mindset. Because now they're going, if they have to admit that the United States knows what happened to the plane, why aren't they saying anything? Why did we not find it? Now, this is how you realize there must be a conspiracy. This is why if you tell an NPC, the United States government 100% knows what happened to the plane, you will short circuit them. There's so many ways to short circuit NPCs because the truth is undeniable when presented with it.
So anybody that's telling you that they don't know where this plane is lying. And this is once again, this is the Rubicon for the press. That if people believe that the National Security Agency, which can track a cell phone into your pocket and track your location and listen to your phone call, if they don't think the NSA knows where this thing is, and if they don't, then the whole organization needs to be disbanded. It's completely incompetent. So
that's another good point. If anyone's going to claim that the NSA can't know where this plane went, then we need to disband the entire organization because it's incompetent. If you can lose a Boeing 777 flying past your military exercises, there were literally military exercises going on right there off the coast of Thailand. Cope Tiger and Cobra Gold. U.S. military exercises right there. The theme that year was search and rescue. If you're trying to tell me we have all this surveillance capability and a Boeing 777 can disappear off this planet, then we need to disband the NGA, the NRO, the NSA. We need to just disband these intelligence apparatus because obviously we're completely incompetent. So this is what you tell someone. Do you think the United States intelligence apparatus is completely incompetent? And that despite all these surveillance systems, somehow a Boeing 777 was flying rogue for 8 hours and we'd have no idea what happened to it? You have to be a complete idiot to think that. A complete idiot.
So that's the second one. Rolls-Royce had pingers on every single one of these engines. By the way, you do not have just one black box on 777s. You have three. You have one in the cockpit, you have one in the midsection, you have one in the tail.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, there's 3 black boxes and you can't even access them. At least the one in the tail. They can't even be accessed. Oh, and there's also 4 emergency transponders. 4 of them, and they can't be tampered with. 4 emergency transponders. They only go off when an airplane crashes. And by the way, none of them sent any signals. When people say that the plane crashed, you just ask them, are you aware that planes have 4 redundant emergency transponders and they only go off when a plane crashes? So you're trying to tell me the plane crashed, but none of the transponders went off? Like literally, again, guys, just use common sense here. Everything I'm telling you here is factual information. Again, a lot of people, especially people in the UFO community, they struggle with what's a fact versus what's an opinion. The facts are the United States knows what happened to the plane. Their surveillance apparatus proves it. The facts are an airplane has 4 emergency transponders on it that can't be disabled. None of them went off. Those are facts. No transponders went off. There's 4 redundant transponders that cannot be turned off. The facts are the plane was within range of 5 radars when it was supposedly lost from radar. This is a fact. 5 radars from 3 different countries. This is why when I argue with people, I usually just stick to the facts because the facts make the story undeniable. And then what you'll find from the people that I've argued with is that usually they represent their opinions as facts in response. Okay.
And no matter what they say, you can't get at the one in the tail, and you can't turn it off either. And you're talking about a gigantic expanse of ocean. There's nothing out there. And everything on a 777 is designed to float because these are long-range aircraft that are designed to go over water, and everything floats. And there is no way that you can't see these things from space.
Man, this guy, you see why I love this guy? This guy was on it, man. He's like, everything in the aircraft is designed to float. Everything in the aircraft is designed to float. He says there's no possible way if this plane hit the ocean that we could see it from outer space. We can see the airplane from out. The airplane is gigantic. You could see the airplane from outer space. You could see the debris field easily from outer space for days and days and days and days and days. There's just no way the plane crashed. You can't hide a plane crash. They're visible from space. It's crazy how people just have to use common sense. Just think for yourself. Stop repeating what you're told to think from Reddit, from CNN or whatever, and just use common sense for yourself. Look at how big a Boeing 777 is. Realize that everything inside the plane is designed to float. Realize that they found no debris field anywhere. Realize that the debris was found on the wrong continent. It was found in the wrong part of the world. Wrong continent. It should have been found. All the debris should have washed ashore in Australia. No debris washed ashore in Australia. Only 2 pieces or 3 pieces have been, in their words, confirmed to be tied to MH370. This is not enough debris to prove that a plane crashed. There should be thousands of pieces of debris washing ashore. The debris field should be so massive that people are just boating by in their boats and they're seeing a debris field, let alone every country on the planet seeing it from outer space.
So the plane lands at Diego Garcia. And what happens to the people there? This is the other question.
That's a big one.
Now you have the friends and family members of the people on the plane who are rioting because they're screaming at Malaysian Airlines and the Malaysian government that they are covering things up, that they are not being told what was going on. Then you have, I heard of one incident, but I've heard there were 2 incidents of people actually calling cell phones of their friends and family.
I've heard that as well.
Where the phones have not only been answered, but somebody's on the other end doesn't answer and then hangs up the phone. Now, Diego Garcia has...
The phones were ringing. The phones were ringing, chat. How did they gaslight people into thinking that a phone rings at the bottom of the ocean? They gaslit people into thinking they had this fake, completely fake expert. I looked the guy up. They had this same fake expert go on all the mainstream shows and lie and say that phones will ring at the bottom of the ocean. I couldn't believe it. I actually found the guy and started talking shit to him on Twitter. I found him. And his account looks fake as hell, too. He's got like 90,000 followers and gets like 1 like on his posts. And I found the old clips of him. They literally took this same guy and they just basically got... Can I find it? Let me see. I'll have to dig it up. Crazy, though. Okay.
About 1,600 civilian personnel. They have cell phone service to be able to call off the island, so you can actually tap into that network. That's number 1. Number 2, Malaysia Airlines then informs the friends and family members via text that their people are dead and they're never going to see your loved ones again because they were afraid if they held a press conference that the people would riot and try to murder their officials.
They texted the family members that your loved ones are dead and you're never going to find them. They wouldn't even tell them in person. Think how this is like this so sick, man. They were like, sorry, your loved ones are gone. They texted. Imagine you get a text. Yep, your loved ones are dead. Sorry. And the family members were freaking out because they knew they were being lied to. You guys wonder, like, why are the family members not demanding Ashton stop? Because the family members 100% know, 100%, that there was a cover-up. They just don't know what the story is. But they knew there was a cover-up.
That's how the cover-up is going over in Malaysia. Then you have the story of Philip Wood.
Yes, please talk about that.
And Philip Wood, again, this is not my information. This is other information that was coming from other people off the net. Philip Wood was an executive for IBM Malaysia. And the story goes that Philip Wood somehow managed to secrete an iPhone on his body. Now, remember, we're talking about one of the few Americans. We're talking about one of only maybe 2 Americans that I think were actually on this flight. We're talking about a guy who was a very intelligent engineer, and he had about 5 hours to figure out that they were being hijacked. What could he do about this if pirates were actually taking over the plane, and what he could do? So he hides a cell phone on his body. So the challenge here is that Mr. Wood then manages to get a message out after a few days. They put a black bag on his head. He pulls his phone out. He says he takes a photograph of where he is, which is basically just a jet black room. But we actually managed to then trace the signal to a longitude and latitude that's on Diego Garcia. Not only on Diego Garcia, but actually to a building that is a black site prison there.
That was probably one of the craziest things, is that supposedly Philip Wood made a 4chan post with a black picture saying he was held prisoner. People figured out he was on the plane, and they look at the coordinates in the metadata, and it's Diego Garcia. I mean, shit, chat. This is crazy. When people say there's no evidence the plane went to Diego Garcia, it's kind of like, if you ignore all the evidence, yeah, we literally have a passenger on board the plane who made an internet post claiming that it's him, claiming he was held prisoner by the military, and the metadata in the picture says it's Diego Garcia. And it's a known CIA black site also. Yeah, no evidence that went to Diego Garcia, except for like literally the American passenger like begging for help in a text message that has coordinates of Diego Garcia. Yeah, except for that, there's no evidence that the plane went to Diego Garcia. I swear to God, man. And the funny part is, like, people are like, you should just ignore that. Like, dude, imagine that's your loved one. Like, imagine for a second, your parents, your dad is on an airplane and the plane disappears. And 10 days later, your dad's on 4chan going, I'm stuck. I can't really think clearly. Here's a picture of me. People held me prisoner. Please save me. And you look at it and it's like, it's Diego Garcia. It's like, are you going to be like, oh, yeah, that's obviously fake? No, you're going to be like, you need to investigate that. People need to be on Diego Garcia right now looking for my dad. Even if it's fake. Even if that was fake. Who cares? Who cares? Why would you not go search? Why would you not go search there? You're like, oh, just ignore that. It's like, imagine you're the prisoner and you're like barely able, you're like all drugged up and you're like, I don't have a Reddit account and this isn't my phone. Like, I'm just going to post on 4chan. I don't need an account to do that. I just need to get this picture off. Boom. Put the picture off. It's your only hope of being saved. And the whole world goes, nah, that's fake. Ignore that. Ignore that. Ignore that. If this was a real search effort and they were doing no stone unturned, they would have literally gone to Diego Garcia the moment that picture hit the internet. People should have been demanding that we get to go to Diego Garcia right now before you can move that guy who's obviously you're a prisoner in a CIA black site out there. People are like, oh, well, how did he get who the fuck cares how he got the message off? Who cares why he's using 4chan? Get out there and search for him. Why are we not out there searching for him? It's just crazy. The fact that people are trying to make excuses for the picture as opposed to like demanding they try to go rescue him. Imagine that's your loved one. Are you going to be sitting there going, well, why is he you don't give a shit why he's posting on 4chan? He needs you to go save his life. Some fucking spooks are about to execute him on Diego Garcia. Bro, I mean, I swear this story is just absolutely wild, dude.
So the question is, what do they do with the people? And here's one other interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
The mainstream media was refusing to verify that the 4 people that owned the patent for the computer chip for Freescale Semiconductors were or were not on the plane. They were trying to say that alternative media was wrong on this. The challenge is the mainstream media and Malaysia Airlines released 3 or 4 different...
So here he claims that the manifests were like different. We're going to maybe just skip past this.
Trick is probably off the table. Mm-hmm. So the only rest of this that I can tell you is the Malaysian military tracked it going that way. Eyewitnesses actually saw it heading towards Diego Garcia. And the mainstream media...
Oh, yeah, and the eyewitnesses. And we have 15 islanders on an island that saw it flying towards Diego Garcia also. If that all wasn't enough, there's like 15 people living out, or there's like 3,000 people on this tiny island. They never see jumbo jets. They see the jumbo jet of Malaysian Airlines that next morning with the red and white stripe on it, just like you see right there. And they go, we saw this plane flying towards Diego Garcia, this secret military base over here. Everybody just goes, nah, that was fake. Like, what do you mean that was fake? These people have no reason in the world to lie. 15 witnesses on a small island all see the airplane. Obviously, they see MH370. I just sit here and wonder sometimes, like, God damn, humans are stupid as shit. They think that 15 random islanders on a tiny island decided to make up a story about seeing Malaysian Airlines fly towards an American military base? Guys, while we literally have a picture of one of the passengers with metadata of the coordinates of the base. I don't know about you guys, but if anybody wants to take bets against me, I'll take any odds. I would bet my whole life savings the plane ended up at Diego Garcia. I mean, what more evidence do you need? They're like, what more would you expect? I don't know.
Not only did they not mention Diego Garcia, but only 2 days ago they did a mock story. Let's laugh at the stupid conspiracy theory people. And by the way, the conspiracy theorists are always right. We are always right. It just takes us a little longer to figure out how.
I'm actually going to play the exact. So what he just said there is they made this. CNN did this piece where they do this piece where they want to mock the conspiracy theorists. I have it. You ready, guys? So if you're new to the case, you're in for a treat, chat. You're in for a treat. I got to figure out what I called it, though. It's called Diego Garcia, right? CNN Diego Garcia. Let me see. Hold on. What's it called? CNN. Yeah, okay, I got it. Here we go. Watch this. Like, listen to the actual just like complete hubris of the people, of the person making. If you know who's speaking during this clip I'm about to play, let me know as well. Wait, what? Having trouble sharing. This can happen if its file is invalid. What? Oh. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I clicked the wrong file. Hold on. Here we go. It's called CN. Oh, wait, no, that's not the right one. I'm so confused. It must be in a different cell. Hold on. Island conspiracy that doesn't die. Oh, okay. Here, that's why I couldn't find it. You guys have to watch this. So basically, they just try to make fun of the conspiracy theorists, and the best part is they get everything wrong. God damn it! I just lost where the thing was. Hold on, guys. Documents. Okay. Jesus Christ. Oh, man, I gotta have my stuff sorted better. Hold on. Oh, there it is. News clips. Here we go.
We would not even be talking about Diego Garcia, this small island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, if it were not for the conspiracy theories about it. Ones flooding not only the usual murky depths of the internet, but also spilling out into mainstream locations, such as the White House briefing room.
Some news reports saying that the missing flight could have landed in the U.S. military base, Diego Garcia, in the center of Indian Ocean. Do you rule in that or rule out that?
I'll rule that one out.
That's basically the kind of awkward response you give when you're lying.
So what is Diego?
By the way, the plane ended up at Diego Garcia. So this piece is going to age like rotten milk. Like, CNN is never going to get over this.
Diego Garcia. The island's just south of the equator, making for a tropical paradise, but don't go planning a vacation there. Diego Garcia is owned by the British, but home to the U.S. Navy and Air Force. Entry into Diego Garcia is restricted, requiring area clearance by the U.S. Navy. The island has everything from swimming pools to basketball courts to even a 4-lane bowling alley, but it's set up for serious business. After 9/11, it was controversially used as a refueling base for transporting accused terrorists.
So far, why am I supposed to think the plane didn't end there? Because basically everything CNN has said so far would make me think that's exactly where the plane ended up. Oh, like, yeah, we put terrorists there. It's a super secret military base. No commercial planes land there. So far, everything they've said corroborates the plane going there.
The base played a major role during the invasion of Iraq in 2003, and planes there have been used in Afghanistan. Now, there is no legitimate evidence about Flight 370 that has anything to do with Diego Garcia.
Except for 15 real witnesses and a picture that has metadata with coordinates of Diego Garcia, of the only adult American passenger on board. Did CNN forget that evidence? Maybe they forgot that evidence. Like, somebody should probably ask whoever that was who was talking. They just said there's no evidence, but we literally have a picture of the American passenger taken from Diego Garcia. In any other scenario, we would immediately search there based on that alone. But we also have 15 witnesses, all on an island, all independent witnesses that all saw the plane flying towards Diego Garcia. That's not enough?
Yeah, but as with so much in this bizarre world, there's plenty of baseless and cruelly misleading nonsense out there, some of which has made its way to those desperate for information about loved ones. When this all-black image supposedly giving coordinates to Diego Garcia by Philip Wood, a passenger on...
I thought a second ago he said there was no evidence. Now he's saying that the American passenger posted a black picture and it's got Diego Garcia on it. That seems like what I would call evidence. No evidence except for, hey, the American passenger sent a picture from Diego Garcia. It's got metadata on it with coordinates of Diego Garcia. Oh, well, do you think maybe we should go look there? Like, do you think we should? No, just take the government's word for it. Yeah, we stole a plane and brought the passengers to our American military base, but we'll totally tell the truth.
For information about loved ones. When this all-black image supposedly giving coordinates to Diego...
I'm going to full screen this.
Desperate for information about loved ones. When this all-black image supposedly giving coordinates to Diego Garcia by Philip Wood, a passenger on board Flight 370, went viral on the internet, family members of the missing asked authorities to search the military base for their loved ones. These postings on the internet even claimed, falsely, that Wood was texting from the island. What
do you mean falsely, dude? Why is he saying that it's false? Like, what evidence does he have to claim that that's fake? CNN, that's Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper, I'm going to end your fucking career, you piece of shit. Dude, he just said there's a picture there from there and even showed the image of the text saying, please fucking help me. Please help me.
Authorities to search.
And, of course, the moment that happened, the families are begging the authorities to go search. Did they go search? Of course they didn't go search. So why are you going to come down and say that it's false? Do you have a better story? Show us the better story, CNN.
The military base for their loved ones. These postings on the internet even claimed, falsely, that Wood was texting from the island.
Let's read it, chat. I have been held hostage by unknown military personnel after my flight was hijacked. I work for IBM and have managed to hide my cell phone in my ass during the hijack. I have been separated from the rest of the passengers and I am in a cell. My name is Philip Wood. I think I have been drugged as well and cannot think clearly. If that was my family, any one of my loved ones that sent that message and it was ignored, I would go full John Wick on everyone, including Jake Tapper as well. Everybody trying to say that it's fake or that we shouldn't go search for my loved one based on a fucking picture of them begging for help after being abducted by the military. Straight up John Wick on everyone.
Island. Let's make this clear. The pings heard days ago and the arch on the Inmarsat satellites place the plane more than 2,000 miles to the southeast of the island.
Let's go back to that. The arch you see right here, we searched it for 10 years and found nothing. We searched the specific arc in 2 different searches for 3 years straight and didn't find one piece of the plane. There is no evidence to claim that the plane crashed in the South Indian Ocean. The satellite pings are from U.S. intelligence-controlled Inmarsat. The United States intelligence apparatuses control Inmarsat, which released the pings. We don't need satellite pings because the United States military knows exactly what happened to the plane. Why are you going to believe sat pings that can easily be manipulated is just rows in an Excel spreadsheet? It doesn't mean anything. These people are so stupid. The fact that we as humans believe this stupid bullshit about satellite pings was got to be like one of the lowest points in humanity. We should have been like, no, dude, you have full motion video satellite footage. Show us the fucking plane. Instead, we're like, no, some pings hit the plane, and we're going to use some weird analysis to determine where the plane went. Bro, there was nothing ever found where these pings indicate. The pings are obviously fake. The debris cannot have washed ashore in Africa if these pings are accurate. It's not possible. Jake Tapper's a fucking moron.
Miles to the southeast of the island, meaning landing at Diego Garcia would have been impossible.
Just physically impossible.
Yes, it would have been impossible if the pings were accurate and we found the plane where the pings indicated. But you know what? We didn't, because the pings are wrong. Therefore, it's 100% possible the plane went to Diego Garcia.
Possible. Not from where we had that last ping.
Yeah, the pings are wrong. You guys are morons. To all the independent group, to Jeff Wise, to all the other experts that believed in the satellite pings, you are idiots. You got played. You got played by fake evidence. You're morons.
Not to mention the dangers and issues of approaching a highly sensitive military base.
They would be scrambling jets at the minimum to go up.
They're not scrambling jets. They literally abducted the plane, guys. Like, let it get through your thick noggin. The perpetrators are us. We are the baddies. The United States government took the plane. They don't need to scramble jets for a plane they're literally in control of. I seriously wonder sometimes with these people.
And find out what aircraft is approaching that base. The idea that this plane could arrive and land with any kind of a stealth manner and then be housed and have 240 people on the island and no word of that would ever leak out.
No word leak out. You just ignored somebody begging for help. He was the only American passenger aboard the plane. The only adult American passenger sends out a message on the internet begging for help that has a picture with metadata. He doesn't even know where he is. Philip Wood doesn't even know where he is and puts out a picture with metadata of Diego Garcia. And they go, I can't believe no information leaked out. It did leak out. You ignored it. You refused to search. You refused to search because you believed obviously fake pings where we never found anything. The media is a sham. The whole world is a fucking lie. We basically live in a pretend reality. We live in a pretend reality where the United States government controls the media and they control our perception of events to a level that makes us just complete primitives, where we just don't even think for ourselves. Like, we don't even use any logical thinking abilities. So I hope you enjoyed that part. I'm going to read some super chats. I hope you guys enjoyed just like showing that even if you don't believe the videos are real, you have to realize that this plane was clearly taken by the United States military. Clearly. That's the only story that makes sense. The United States military took the plane, right? They covered it up. We took the plane. No other story makes any sense. The plane didn't just randomly crash in the South Indian Ocean from some, suicidal pilot. That was definitely not what happened. There's no evidence for that. The amount of evidence we have for the plane going to Diego Garcia, the amount of evidence just for the plane being at Diego Garcia is more evidence than there is for the pilot suicide. Just that little tiny story we have more evidence of. Real people that saw the plane, a picture on the internet that has coordinates that ping the plane, that go straight to the island. Wild, man. Okay, we're kind of running out of time, so maybe we'll just do like one clip of Redacted. Didn't I pull it up? Oh, yeah. Wait. Okay, here we go. Let me see here. So this is the Redacted video, guys. If you haven't seen the Redacted video, I think it was pretty good. It's got about 500,000 views. Not bad after a few days. I didn't like what they called it with the time travel, because he asked me a question about time travel at the end, which was fine. I have nothing against time travel questions, but that's not really what the conversation was about. It was more about free energy and 0-point energy. So definitely recommend checking that out. Oh, yeah, let me do the super chats again real quick. I probably missed a lot here. Grift, who cares? I'm just hooking up, Ashing up. Thank you, Grift. I appreciate it, guys. Honestly, I like the donations of Grift. Those are just going to trigger people like crazy. Maybe the plane was not Zap Diego, but Autek base. Doubtful. Maybe. 11,000 watching. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how many views we got, guys. So thank you very much for being here. Yeah, hit the like and subscribe so I can help build my channel. And then I might be able to do at some point, do science and stuff like that full time. We'll see. But we're always going to be pushing MH370 in the background just to make sure that people don't forget and to make sure that we keep the pressure on. Because the science will come out and then the videos will become undeniable. It's probably how it'll play out. I have not heard about the 1,000 Talents program. I did post a link to the Discord in the chat. I'll post another one and I'll put it on the screen if I can. Stojan, thank you for that donation, brother. I appreciate it. Rotus, hi Ashton, big fan. I'm uploading my second video of 10 steps to the ether. Goal is to get people to the ether with plain English and real examples. That's good, man. We need more of that. Oh, this is another great point you just reminded me of here as well. And here, I'll put the Discord invite here in the chat. My thing's all messed up. Here it is. So a couple people have actually reached out to me saying that they want to make their own podcast or, their own content. And also Professor Simon was doing stuff about MH370 and the stuff I'm reporting on. My response and attitude is go for it. Go for it. And don't be afraid to talk about MH370. If you want to talk about that, talk about it. Talk about anything you want to talk about. If you want to talk about MH370, talk about MH370. If you want to talk about your own research into the plane, great. You want to talk about my research into the plane, great. You want to talk about 0-point energy, the ether, great. More people talking about it, the better. If you do it, send me links. Put links in the Discord to your stuff. I have no self-promotion rule in the Discord unless it gets really out of hand. If I like your content, I'll retweet it possibly as well. So absolutely support other people doing their own stuff. And I've said this from the beginning. You can go back to my old live streams. I absolutely support other people investigating the plane, investigating the videos, whatever they want to do. 100%. Absolutely support it. As long as I don't think you're doing something in, dishonest approach, what have you, then you have nothing to worry from my perspective. Okay. I think that's all the super chats. Great. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, so this is a redacted interview. I think some people had some clips, some parts they liked when I looked through the chat here. Redacted is like me and they're lazy and they don't put in the chapters, which I need to work on that. Hopefully the production company people can help me with that because I just don't have the time for all the chapter stuff. Wow, Ashton's an incredible scientist, but you can tell he's such a nice guy. I shed some tears when he told that story about Aunt Margot. Wow, that's nice. It's a nice comment, guys. And yeah, Aunt Margot is, let's say, rehabilitating, but it's, I don't know. Let's just say it's a tough time right now. It's a tough time. Okay, here we go. Now that's the thing about CERN. Shit. Now there's too many comments. I can't find the ones where people were putting the timestamps in there. I think it was like 34 minutes. So I'm just going to go to like a couple clips in here since I don't have them. Oh, yeah. So here was the part about the proof related to the plane. We can skip through some of that. There was Bob Green here. Oh, he actually included all that in there. I actually haven't watched the whole thing. That's me explaining 0-point energy, Casimir effect. We've done a lot of that. Let's go to this. Realize that there's this energy we can tap into. To me, that's an archaic way of doing it at this point and probably relatively inefficient. It's still magic because having a magnetic motor would be pretty cool in your house. We don't use that much energy, but the cooler ways to do it, the ways that we're doing it now, microchips. There's a patent called Casimir cavities. Guys, this is weird. It's weird looking next to myself like this. I'm going to go full screen and make another drink while we listen to this part. By Garrett Model and Bernard Haish. Bernard Haish was a Lockheed Martin engineer. Model is professor emeritus at University of Colorado. And the way that they do it is they basically say, let's look at it from the atomic level. So if I've got my atom and I've got this electron orbital, just kind of like Earth spinning around the sun, I'm going to squeeze it and pull a little bit of energy out of it by changing that orbital. And then I'm going to have it go into an empty cavity, just an empty region of space, and it's going to gain back that energy from the 0-point energy field. Basically like being on a trampoline. So I jump on my trampoline, I jump high in the air, trampoline resets, I hit the trampoline again, and I bounce up again. Same concept, except for from the quantum mechanical level, we're doing this at the very tiniest scales. Honestly, that's a genius. Whoever that guy is, he's a genius. Because think about what I just said right there. This random guy right here goes, Casimir cavity is like a trampoline where we take a little bit of energy from the electron orbital, jump, springs us up. We take that energy, boom, shoots guy in the air. And what happens? The trampoline resets itself. You then have this, your electron, your molecule, go through this empty region of space, or maybe a region filled with gas. And now it gains the energy back automatically from the 0-point energy field. The same way where the trampoline bounces back up. That's a genius way to do free energy. So what they do is they're basically just saying, what would it take to pull that off? Oh, I need a semiconductor, and then I need an insulator, and then another semiconductor. And what this allows is for this quantum tunneling effect to occur, where you have a barrier, and the energy level normally wouldn't be able to get over the barrier, and it would just hit like this. But quantum mechanics says it just quantum tunnels right through the barrier. And that's the kind of device that they've built. And then they have a cavity and they just repeat that. So you could take a very simple idea like that, where we're now looking at what's the most fundamental way to engineer this. And you put it onto a tiny microchip, smaller than the tip of my nail here. And you make it extremely small. And the reason why you do this is that Casimir effect I was just explaining to you, it gets exponentially more powerful the smaller you get, the closer the plates get to one another. In fact, the Casimir effect is so powerful that when people are making microchips, they have to be careful about any two metal surfaces coming close to one another, because they'll just stick together, and they're so small, there's no way to pull them back apart again. All true, chat. All true. So if you didn't watch, that is a great explanation of it. And then I dig into plasma and Ken's shoulders here. Actually, ask me about Elon. Let's do the Elon thing. Imagine a microchip where you just put it in your phone and the phone never stops, permanent battery. Like, incredible. So those are the first two ways. And actually, go ahead if you want to give comment on that one, because it's
almost pictures like the little monkey, the tambourine, like back and forth. Like that's kind of like that's how I'm picturing it in my brain, my monkey brain. Well, another thing just comes to mind as you're talking about these patents and this application of it. It's like, where does Elon Musk fit into this? I mean, here's a guy with SpaceX, and he's been kind of really quiet on this whole drone thing. And it's like, I know he's got these like government contracts, and so my brain immediately wonders like, he's got to be aware of this. Why is he involved in this somehow and have some sort of secret, involvement here? I mean, with SpaceX and everything else he's been developing with satellites and Tesla driving cars and self-driving cars and everything else.
I mean, he's got to. He's got Tesla as his company, and Tesla is the guy that figured out alternating current, the power we still use today. He was the one who cracks me up every time. Like, people think Tesla is like a fake person. They think Tesla is like not a real person. They don't realize like we use 3-phase alternating current today, 2024. That's the main source of energy transportation on our entire planet. Tesla invented it. Tesla invented it. You think we should maybe give him a little bit of respect when he says there's this ether of energy and we can pull energy from it? Like, maybe we should take him seriously. He called it radiant energy. Absolutely wild, man. Oh, they put the plasma thing in here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, dude. Clayton's the man. He's the man. Yeah, okay. If you guys haven't watched this, please watch and share this video.
It's plasma.
I mean, the video we're watching. Plasma. This is the thing that, man, even when we were talking a year ago, I really had no idea what that plasma was really going to be the missing link in the whole UFO topic. It's possible that plasma itself is some sort of fundamental discovery of the universe, just like fire, where all of our rockets, explosion, combustion engine, everything's based on fire. But now you look at plasma, and plasma has these natural, incredible properties, including the biggest one is that it can hold charge density higher than any material that we know of today. Now, metamaterials at some point in the future might be able to improve and get and achieve this. But if you were to pack the amount of energy that we can get into a plasma into any circuitry that we have out there, it would melt the wires. And that's the main limitation on that. It was Ken Shoulders in the late 1980s who realized that these plasmas, he called them exotic vacuum objects because he believed they were cohering energy from the vacuum, from the ether. He realized they have this self-organizing property where it will become naturally a sphere. And there's a funny comment that Sal was telling me in my interview where he said, I forget the guy's name. Hope somebody out there probably know and put it in the comments, but that they were talking about this hot fusion, these tokamak reactors that we have everywhere. And he was kind of throwing shade at it, saying, I've never seen a star in the shape of a donut before. And you kind of laugh and you go, yeah, in outer space, all the stars are plasma, but they're always spherical. Why? I love that one. I got someone find that quote for us. I need to know what the quote is where Sal said in our interview, he goes that never seen the star in the shape of a donut. Why are we trying to make star reactors that are donut shaped? Yes, toroidal structures are important, but the ultimate end product is going to end up in a sphere. Why? Because when we look in the sky, there's no donuts up there. No donuts when we look up there. So that I always think that's a good one. Now, the last thing is I want to go to the time travel question, and then we'll end it after that. I probably am not going to have to say much more because we can just listen to what I say. Oh, they added this part too. I just want to look at this part. Space-time. They don't think we can change the refractive index of space-time, the permittivity of space-time. If you change the permittivity of a material, you change the speed of light through the material. Just like when people show the image of a refractive index where you have like a cup of water and they put a stick in there and you can see it kind of bend. This right here where the plasma is spinning like a galaxy, that's what I was convinced. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, shit. Guys, you wonder why we don't need dark matter? You're staring at it. Look at this plasma spinning around like a galaxy. Dark matter no longer needed. This is why we think we need metamaterials to produce UFOs and anti-gravity. But if you can actually do that to space-time itself, where now you create a bubble in space-time, now you've got a situation where you can have anti-gravity. You can have a huge amount of charge density where this is basically becomes an infinite battery. Oh, yes. And never going to... Bro, this redacted video is so good. They put all my clips in. Expose the defense contractors that he's worked for. He knows about all this stuff.
So-called empty space isn't really empty at all. It's actually full of energy. So instead of being like kind of a quiet, empty lake, it's more like the froth at the base of a waterfall or something. And this energy is basically electromagnetic in nature. And the energy density is quite high. In fact, it's so high that when it was first discovered mathematically, it was thought to be some kind of artifact of the mathematics. But then as time went on, there were even Nobel Prize winning experiments that showed that this
Lamb shift
energy in so-called empty space was really there.
Ken Shoulders' partner was Hal Puthoff. That's the perfect cut right there. Ken Shoulders' partner was Hal Puthoff, the guy that just said that. Was the guy that figured out, Ken Shoulders, the guy that figured out EVOs. Puthoff's the guy that just said empty space isn't empty. Come on, man. How has the UFO community never pieced this together? Plasma is the fourth state of matter. It's not any of the others. And for the people that are leaving early, have a great night. I appreciate you. We have one last question. Clayton asked me about time travel. It's kind of surprising that they named it after the very last question. We can put a little device inside of there, and now we can communicate with it using Hal Puthoff's patent.
What about time travel? Does this confirm
out of nowhere,
or does this confirm time travel exists?
So if you change the permittivity of space, you manipulate the amount of 0-point energy in a region. In the case of the plasma, it's reducing the permittivity. It's pushing out the 0-point energy, just the way the Casimir effect was doing it. So it's a different engineering aspect. If you're doing that, if you're modifying the speed of light, you are technically modifying time. You're creating a time dilation effect as well. This is part of the reason why I would say you don't want to have somebody inside these things. would not want to be inside of these things. It would be extremely disorienting to go inside of some type of craft, fly for an hour, and you come out and it's a year later. And you're like, wait, what? Time dilation is real, which means that time travel is real, but it's not the same kind of time travel that we're seeing in science fiction, except for maybe in the case of Interstellar, which I think they kind of got it right, which would mean that what you can do is you can change your dial so that time either moves faster or slower for you. The real question then is, what is negative time? There is a concept of negative time in physics that mathematically works out, but it's not like you're going to go back to 1950 and go meet your grandparents. I would argue, and this is highly speculative, of course, that instead what you're doing is you're reversing your local state. So you would maybe reverse your age. Like maybe I would go back a year if I could apply negative time. Otherwise, the more conventional uses would be that you can go to the future, but you could never really go to the past. So you could slow your rate of time down. Everything else is speeding up around you. And then you would be in the future. That is possible. And if that's possible, this explains why we might have moved to stuff like plasma drones or other drone type technology where no one's in there, because it's the spam in the can. It's a liability to have a person inside one of these crafts where you have to keep them alive, where you have to have some. Okay, so that's good enough. So last thing, negative time is real. And yeah, Ashton, physics and engineering. You got it, baby. We fake it till we make it. Some people are calling me physicist. I love it. So negative time, this is how I think time travel is going to work out. Like I just said, everything I just said, there's real. Time dilation is real, which makes time travel real, but there's limitations to time travel. The entropy of the universe is always moving in the forward direction. There's always more and more entropy. Things are going from ordered state to disordered states. That's how you have to think of it. And so therefore, when you look at it from these perspectives, the state of the universe is always moving forward. Time is moving forward for the universe. But you can make a bubble where you reverse time within the bubble. That doesn't mean you're going that the state of the universe is going backwards. You are what's going backwards. The bubble is what's going backwards. So basically, all the time travel movies get it exactly opposite of how it works. You can't go back to 1950. It would be that time is moving forward, but your state is going backwards. So your body, your region, let's say I make a bubble around myself might go backwards in time. I might go back to yesterday, to where I was yesterday. So that's like reverse aging, basically. What would that do to your memory? I have no idea. That's why I'm not going to be the first one to test it. I do think that there are amazing medical applications for negative entropy, which is reversing like tumors and cancers, things like that, potentially longevity, living forever, going back in time and changing your age. But you're never going to go back to 1950. You're always going to go from 2024 to 2025, unless you can make a bubble that changes the entropy of the entire universe. That would be the only way you could go back in time, like sci-fi time travel. The most realistic time travel is based on just time dilation, where you are actually changing your dial of your time. You basically, you slow yourself down or you speed yourself up. Either can work. You speed yourself up and you age and you get really old, but only a day has gone by. So you could basically just kill yourself. That's the scary one. Imagine that you get in a craft and you're stuck in that craft for like 100 years. Or let's say 25 years you're in the craft and you get out and it's only been a day. You're like, wait, what? You're like, I'm an old man now, but it's only been a day. Or the opposite. You get in the craft and you spend like a day in the craft and you get out and it's 1,000 years later. Everyone you ever knew is all dead. You're like 100 generations or 10 generations, 50 generations away from the last person that ever knew you. Time travel is not a joke. You need to be very careful. Very careful. Okay, guys, this has been a great stream. Let me see if there's any last super chats. The Lake Show, thank you very much. Whatever happened to Philip Wood's wife? She was actually not his wife. She was his partner. They were not married. But I'll show you what happened to Sarah. Okay? Sarah Bach, B-A-J-C. I'm going to pronounce it Bach until I hear a better pronunciation. Here you go. How about this?
I'm certain that there was some intentional effort to cover up what happened. So whether the disappearance of the plane was intentional.
Let's just repeat that. She says, I am very certain that there was an attempt to cover up what happened to the plane. That was Sarah Bach, partner of the American passenger. She did end up moving on. She remarried, as people do after 10 years. She remarried. I think that's within her rights to be able to do that. She knows that there was a cover-up. This video was taken like a year ago. This video is new. This isn't even an old video.
Intentional or accidental, I don't know. But it's absolutely true in my mind that the reason it hasn't been solved, that the mystery hasn't been solved, is because somebody doesn't want us to know what happened. So whether that's to cover up incompetence or bad decision-making or an accident or whatever, I don't know. But you can't have a giant commercial airplane full of passengers go totally silent within minutes of taking off. I mean, there was no communication between the passengers and the ground. That's for sure. And this was a flight full of Chinese who are notorious for having their phones on during the entire flight. And, all of the evidence that would normally be there from multiple countries having satellites in the air and radar systems, none of that data seems to have ever really been brought forward. So the little bit of hard evidence that we really have seen is the pieces of the plane that have been found, starting about that 1.5 year mark. Debris started showing up in places and it continued to show up for like 2 more years. And the only thing we really know is that none of that debris had the evidence on it of having been in the water for as long as it should have been in the water.
Listen to it from the horse's mouth, chat. Don't even listen to what I'm saying. Literally listen to what the family members of the loved ones, of the partner of the only adult American passenger who sent a text out or sent a post out on 4chan begging for people to come rescue him, and we probably just let him die on Diego Garcia. So anyway, to all the debunkers and people, you've got a man's death on your conscience because you debunked an image that we could have maybe gone and tried to rescue a dude who was in a military base that might have needed saving. So unless that dude's in witness protection, by the way, you guys have blood on your hands, all you debunkers out there, like Mick West, who claimed that the picture was fake. Yeah, I got the receipts. The debunker known as Mick West claimed that the Philip Wood picture was fake. If it turns out Philip Wood really was on that island and really did send that text message, I hope Mick West goes to prison for the rest of his life. I really do hope that. That would be the only just cause. Even taking all his money wouldn't be enough. He should actually go to prison. Imagine how sick of a disgusting human being you have to be. Have a man's blood on your hands because he sent out a message begging for help where he had been held prisoner. And you were you didn't want to believe it. So you basically made it so that it was try to claim that it was fake. I mean, that's sick, man. That is sick shit.
So the facts are pretty limited, but the few facts that we have do not point to it going in the water. They point to it having disappeared and land, and then maybe having those pieces moved into the water at a much later state of time.
So when people try to come at me with their stupid ass arguments about you're hurting the families, what was that Mike Disclosure piece of shit guy's name? Mike Disclosure, show your fat, ugly fucking face on the camera. I dare you, bro. Absolutely dare you. Somebody send this to Mike Disclosure. That ugly, disgusting New York trash piece of shit. Send him that video of Sarah, where Sarah says 100% it was a cover-up. Somebody took the plane and threw a few pieces of water threw pieces of the plane into the water. Tell him to go message Sarah and tell her that she's a conspiracy theorist and that she's hurting the families. Because that's the exact same story I've told on every single podcast I've ever gone on. A lot of my followers say that the debris was fake. I have not said that. I think the debris is from MH370. The plane landed at Diego Garcia. They disassembled the plane, and they threw a few pieces of the plane in the water. Or the debris fell off the plane because it was on fire before it landed at Diego Garcia. That's what I've said. You can fact check me on all my podcasts. I consistently have said that. It's the exact same thing Sarah just said right there. I want to show you one more older video of Sarah. This one, that one was from, you'll be able to tell just based on the looking at her. That picture, here it is. That video was recently in the last year. This other one is from 10 years ago. Okay, so this one's from 10 years ago.
Breaking news today. In a stunning turn, Australian authorities have announced that they are abandoning the old spot where they had been looking for days for missing Flight 370 from Malaysia Airlines, and that now they're going to a new part in the Indian Ocean. And as we follow that search, we're joined by Sarah Baychak. Her boyfriend, Philip Wood, was on Flight 370.
Look how much younger she
waited
looks.
for days and weeks upon end now to hear what has happened to that flight and her loved one. Sarah, I'm thinking about you here, and I just can't imagine how you and the other family members are able to hold up. With this new information that they're searching a new area, how does that strike you?
It strikes me as very interesting, considering 4 days ago they declared with absolute certainty that the plane had gone down in the ocean in the old place that they were looking, and that everybody was lost. So I think what we're seeing is so much inconsistency and changing of direction that we can't really believe anything until there's physical evidence.
So, are you still feeling that something else happened to the flight and therefore your loved one?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's been no rationale given to us by any government entity of why they continue to look in the ocean. I mean, this flight was taken on purpose by some very smart people, and it doesn't make any...
The flight was taken on purpose by some very smart people. Repeat that. Direct quote from the girlfriend of the American passenger. The flight was taken on purpose by some very smart people. Does that sound like random hijackers like 9/11 style? No. Sounds to me like state-sponsored type operation. That's just me, though.
Any sense whatsoever that they would have gone to all that trouble just to put it in the water, right? And every single piece of new lead they bring to the table ends up being false. It's almost like they're trying to keep us distracted. You know, the magician has the activity going on over here while the trick is being made with the other hand. It feels more and more that way.
You know, Sarah, I'm always moved.
Bro, that clip is crazy because that's also true of the UFO community. It's exactly what they're doing in the UFO community. They're going, hey, aliens are real. Aliens are real. You're like, what are you hiding behind your backpack? What's back there behind your back? What? What? No, nothing. It's aliens. Look, we got a blue alien now. Hey, now we got a guy that says he was forced to execute a bunch of aliens. Jesus Christ, man. I can't believe people keep falling for this alien bullshit. Once again, aliens are the dumbest conspiracy out there. It's just one level above ghosts. It really is. It's like, even if it's real, it's stupid. No one cares. It doesn't matter. Yes, life is out there in the universe. Welcome to the real world. Who cares about aliens? Like, they're coming to save us. They're going to come save us. Fuck off. Nobody's coming to save us. Go save yourself. What matters is the technology, guys.
When I see your interviews, from the very beginning, you have said, I feel Philip's presence and his energy is with me here. And now as the days have worn on and we're worried about if there is a black box pinging, we only have 10 days left to find that. Do you still feel his presence?
Yes, I actually do still feel his presence. And I don't know if that's his spirit with me to give me strength to get through this difficult time, and indeed he's already gone, or if it's his spirit reaching out for strength from me because he's going through some terrible ordeal. I mean, I can't discern the difference, but I still can tell he's here with me.
Here it is, and it's dark outside, and you're talking with us. But I understand that you, while you're in Beijing, that you and Philip had planned to move together to Kuala Lumpur, and that you're still going there? Do you still plan to go there, and why do you feel that you want to do that?
Yes, I will still go ahead with that. We've had an apartment there since January. We went and picked it out together. And it's the plan that we'd made to go forward. So he's found a new position there. I found a new position.
And I notice how you still refer to him in the present tense. You happy?
He's one of the most caring and thoughtful people I've ever. People, when he walks in a room, everybody feels happier just because he's there.
We are going to solve this mystery. We are going to get vindication for these people. You know what pisses me off more than anything? Is when I listen to honest, real people begging for the truth, and the media is just acting like fucking retards. And they're just sitting there asking them stupid-ass questions when what they should be doing is getting to the truth, demanding that the U.S. government search Diego Garcia for Philip Wood. He posted a picture online. It's got coordinates of Diego Garcia. You should be literally getting on a plane to go to Diego Garcia immediately to break the story and find Philip Wood there. And if he's not there, great. Well, at least you tried. Isn't that what your job is as a journalist? Like, do journalism, investigative journalism. This is why it's like, it's sick that I've had to do more investigative journalism than all mainstream media combined over the last year. It's not even an exaggeration. They don't do any real journalism. It's embarrassing stuff. And the families knew this was all bullshit. They knew everything they were being fed was bullshit. They were getting arrested, freaking out. Malaysian officials were afraid they were going to get beaten to death because they were lying to the families, and they knew they were lying to the families. They knew they were lying to the families. They texted them that their family members were dead as a lie. They didn't know. Or maybe they did know they were dead, but they wouldn't give them the circumstances of it. Crazy, man. So anybody who gives you the bullshit about you're hurting the loved ones, you just show them those videos. You're hurting the loved ones. The loved ones have gotten zero closure. Zero closure. They knew at the beginning that there was a cover-up at play. The only people that don't realize there's a cover-up at play are too busy sucking off the government. Hold on, let me get my meme out here for you. This is the people, this is the woke disclosure people that think that the government doesn't commit conspiracies, but that they're hiding alien life. Here it is. There you go. That's for you, Mike Disclosure. You're hurting the families. They can't get their disclosure. That's Mike Disclosure right there. That's him raging out. Let's do it one more time for Mike Disclosure, everybody. Jesus, man. These people are such cocks, dude. Unbelievable. So anyway, guys, you guys have a great night. We're going to drop. It was a good video. Good live stream. On Friday, we're going to go back to science. I've got several podcasts that Avi Loeb was in that people told me I've got to listen to. He talks about warp drives, negative energy. I'm going to try to get Avi Loeb on the podcast. I really, really, really like Avi Loeb. I've liked him for a long time. I like his attitude. I think that he's generally anti-establishment, but that he toes the line so that he doesn't get in trouble. The feeling I get of Avi Loeb is that behind the scenes, Avi Loeb knows it's all bullshit, but he's doing whatever he can. So I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to try to get him on the podcast. If I can get Avi on the podcast, that would be fire. I am talking to Jason Giorgiani tomorrow, and that podcast will drop. I don't know. I might drop it early. I might drop it on Friday for you guys. So Alien Jeremy, if you actually are literally going to Harvard tomorrow, go pay Avi a visit, please. Knock on his door. Just introduce yourself. Just be like, yo, I'm alien scientist. I'm Jeremy Reese. I do this APEC thing. Like, I think you're awesome. You know, butter him up a little bit. And then be like, also, my buddy Ashton really wants to interview you. Maybe you ask him to interview him, you know, whatever. But, you know, put a good name in for me. Because otherwise he's going to think I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist. Okay, guys. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, MH370X. Appreciate you guys. Another bomb live stream. I actually have another video to play for you. Oh, okay. We'll just play one of our standard ones. You guys have a great night. We'll talk again on Friday. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2025. Prayers out to the victims of the terrorist attacks today. That's never acceptable. We need to move above and beyond our aggression and our evil ways. Peace.
Infrared eyes, scanning the black, tracking the heat, never turning back. Control 22, a covert gaze. Control 33, in the cosmic maze. Controls in the mix, secrets untold. Silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Pierce, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. In the silence of space, they keep their post, shields unseen yet feared the most. With precision and speed, they warn of danger, keeping us safe from the missile's anger. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. And roles in the mix, secrets untold, silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar.